Jeff's already saying, what's up, Tim? We got Mike Lee already sitting in the room. Zach Attack, of course, is in Greencastleburg, Pennsylvania. We got Tyrone dropping in early this morning. What's going on, Tyrone? How you doing dropping in early? We're going to talk Giants. We're going to talk the draft. We're going to talk all these wonderful things in free agency. We're going to talk about how the Shane has convinced all Giant fans that everything he's doing is awesome. But before we get started, I have a special guest today. It's not Batman. It's better than Batman. Who could be better than Batman? Mike Lee says, press the button. I'm pushing the button. I'm pushing all the buttons. But we got a special guest today. We're going to drop him in here. He was gracious enough to come on. Why? I don't know. Because who the hell would want to do this show? Of course, it's the man. It's the myth. It's the legend. It's the bad dog. We have to have a bad dog sound effect. That's one sound effect we do not have. Mr. Bad Dog. Welcome.
My man. What's going on?
Not much. Why the hell would you want to come on and do this at 10:30 in the morning?
Why not? It's about the Giants, right? I always got time for the Giants. Even if they do suck.
According to the Shane, man, every guy they sign is a hidden gem. They just need a chance. They just need an opportunity. They may have been in the league for 5 years. They just need a chance.
Of course. I mean, listen, we didn't have a lot of cap space to maneuver with. His moves have been interesting. He's kind of depleted our secondary and our tight end room. So I've gone into this year with low expectations. I do think you got to tear it down and rebuild everything. I don't think Gettleman really tried to do that. He tried to win and rebuild. Can't do that. And Joe Shane came out and said, oh, it doesn't mean we're not going to compete. In New York, you can't just come out and go, listen, we're going to suck for a couple of years. And we're going to get better as time progresses. We're going to rebuild. Your fans don't want to hear, what do you mean we're going to suck? Well, we should suck this year. If we don't, that's awesome. But you can't expect to win 10 games with this team. And yeah, I've heard the whole, it's a hidden gem guy. It's a hidden gem guy.
I love that, though. I said it before. Dave Gettleman had bad PR. Mm-hmm. Gettleman dumped JPP. Gettleman dumped OBJ. Gettleman got rid of Olivier Vernon. He dumped the salaries. He put
Zeitler.
He got it. We were in salary cap purgatory. He got us out of salary cap purgatory, but he gets zero credit for doing that. But Shane does it. Shane gets rid of Logan Ryan, eats all the salary, only saves $775,000 in the cap space. He could use in the league. You have before June 1st. You're allowed 2 post June 1st cuts before June 1st. He didn't use that, which would have saved us in excess of $3 million. But we did save more than $3 million in 2022. Mm-hmm. But it's the PR that he's just like, we're just finding these guys, man. We're plucking them off the apple tree. It's all going to be good.
Yeah. I think this time of year, fans always want to be optimistic. I mean, everybody's optimistic going into the regular season. I think everybody's just so happy that Gettleman's out of here because he was an absolute disaster. So I think fans want to believe that things are going to, I want to believe things are going to change, but I think that I just don't, again, not a lot of cap space. Weren't really going to make huge splashes. He definitely addressed a position that we need. We don't even know what the hell the offensive line is. We had Andrew Thomas, but we don't know what Nick Gates is. Don't know what Shane Lemieux is going to be, if they're going to be healthy.
We got Feliciano.
What's that?
We got Feliciano. 300 snaps at center in his career. We got him.
Yeah.
He missed 15 games over the last 2 years, but we got him.
Yeah. And then they had they picked up somebody else. Yes, was it last night? I think they picked up somebody else that was like a 4th round pick or something in Miami in 2015. Whatever. They're just getting bodies at this point. Like these camp bodies or whatever. I don't know how much of an impact they're going to make. But what I found interesting, and I'd imagine they're going to cut Bradbury. I don't know if they're going to find a trading partner. That's a lot of money. I mean, he's saving us a lot of money if we cut him. So all of a sudden, I know you're a Malik Willis guy, and I have been an advocate of
the Malik Willis Express.
I'm sorry. What were you saying about? I'm sorry. What did you mention?
Malik Willis. Bringing the
nice.
Did you mention? Did you mention someone? I'm also wearing my Willie Beeman number 13 jersey, and as an homage to the Malik, sir.
So I wanted to address the offensive line or the defensive line. I wanted to address the trenches, but now that he dumped Logan Ryan, and there's a possibility that Bradbury's not here, Now all of a sudden you've entered guys like Kyle Hamilton, who I didn't really want, but now if they want to draft him, it makes sense. Or Sauce Gardner, same thing. I didn't really want to draft him, but it makes sense. But now there's so many positions that we kind of need. I wasn't a big Logan Ryan fan anyway. I didn't really like the signing by Gettleman. Did not understand why you paid $30 million for a safety when you were strapped for cash to begin with. It seemed like that money could have been put to better use. But the draft is going to be interesting. I have no clue what we're doing. And if we're going to rebuild, this is where we have to do it. 5 picks in the top 82 or 83, whatever it is, and 9 picks overall. Maybe they trade back one of their top 10 picks, but if they're going to start rebuilding, they have to do it here, and they can't miss. Whether that's Malik Willis, Sauce Gardner, Kayvon Thibodeau, Lloyd, Ajabo obviously tore his, I guess he tore his
Achilles.
Achilles, so he's not going to be a possibility. But if they go Ike Ekwonu, whatever, can't miss.
6 months he's going to be out. The minimum they're saying he's going to be out 6 months.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's Jeff Newman says bad dog in the house. We also have Steven said dumping Vernon was a smart move. I agree with that. Hit the like button with the T-Brad. T-Brad's going to be on the big draft show coming up soon. Mike Lee's expecting 4 to 5 wins. Are we playing 23 games? Because I think it will be fine on that. Don't forget Glowinski. He is the best. Rolling my eyes. Again, Glowinski, man. I mean, he's just you want to have a feeling that you want to know, or you want to, as a fan and as a YouTuber, when I say that with a grain of salt, because I don't consider myself a YouTuber, I consider myself an idiot with a microphone. You want to sit there, you want to think you have an idea what the Giants' plan is going to be for the draft.
Right.
And then they get rid of Logan Ryan. Then they start bringing in all these offensive lineman bodies. You then give Tyrod Taylor low-end starter money. You still have a quarterback that the Giants have never came out and said, if the season starts today, he would be able to play. They've never said that. Mm-hmm. They always say, wait till August. What, I mean, do you have, or do you think that, what's the direction? Where are they going in this draft? I mean, you've seen, I mean, it's gotten worse now because now you're seeing guys, Sauce Gardner, Kyle Hamilton. And I've always said, you don't positional value, you don't take a safety in the top 10. Only one has gone in the last 11 years, and that was Jamal Adams. Mm-hmm. I don't like Kyle or Hamilton unless you're going to use him as an in the box Peppers type thing. But where do you think they go?
Yeah, I don't know, because like a tight end will be addressed later in the draft. The only thing I can say with Shane is at least his track record is that of he's been able to find good offensive linemen later in the draft. Mm-hmm. So maybe he does go in a different direction in the first round, which again, I'm not a lot of people like Kyle Hamilton, saying he's one of the best players available in the draft. And that's probably true. All right. I don't know. I mean, you can say that one of the best players coming in doesn't mean they're going to be great in the NFL. I mean, we've seen that a million times over the course of the years that these top 10 picks don't always pan out. But for me, I've always felt like when you build a team, you build from the inside out, and you don't get any farther out than a safety. I feel like a safety is always a luxury pick. I don't know how much a safety impacts the game unless, like you said, he's a Julius Peppers type where he's in the box and he can make plays at the line of scrimmage as well, or he's out there covering as kind of that money backer type of position. I don't know. Like I said, I'd rather just take it. If Thibodeau's there, I would rather just go Thibodeau and Icky if that's possible. But I don't know what they're going to do. And the Tyrod Taylor thing to me was they got Daniel Jones as a serviceable backup because he hasn't been able to get through a full season. I don't think this is a quarterback competition. God forbid if Tyrod Taylor actually ever beat Daniel Jones out, Daniel Jones' career would be over. Might be over anyway. It's over with the Giants at the end of this year, regardless. If the Giants don't go quarterback this year, in my opinion, Tyrod Taylor's there as a backup. They move on from Jones next year. They address the quarterback situation next year. Tyrod Taylor is then your stopgap. He probably starts for a half a year or whatever, and then you bring the rookie in if that's what they want to do. But we don't know. We have no idea. Maybe Joe Shane does say, draft day, let's trade Daniel Jones. Let's draft Malik Willis. I've heard these stupid trade rumors about Daniel Jones for Baker Mayfield. That would make no sense. Baker Mayfield's not the future of the Giants. Why the hell would they do that? I did a video on that. And I did a video of that. And I said multiple times in the videos, the Giants will not trade for Baker Mayfield for Daniel Jones. And all the comments were like,
You don't know what you're talking about. The Giants are going to do this. I said that in the video. I said, this is what people are talking about.
Yeah.
James White's got a good question, though. This is a good question because everyone knows that Matt from Connecticut is one of my favorite players.
Yes.
No, he's one of my guys. Could he be an Eric Flowers? I talked about this last week about shifting him to the inside, that he's got the bulk, he's got the size, but I don't think he has the lateral mobility or the quickness to play tackle because of the fact that he's been in the league now 3 years and has shown minimal to nothing. And I said when we drafted him, it was developmental talent. He was going to take 3 to 4 years to progress, but I'm not seeing any progression.
No, there's no progression. I mean, Matt from Connecticut, as you call him, got beat out by Nate Solder. This is a guy that they spent a 3rd round pick on. So they must not think that highly of Matt from Connecticut. If Nate Solder, who was god awful when he was here, sat out the entire year because of the COVID thing and then came back at whatever his 34 years of age and was god awful the entire year again, and Parrott still couldn't get on the field. Yeah, probably not too high of a ceiling for that.
The floor. I always say the floor is the ceiling for this kid. And I think that's what it is. John Silva, of course, coming in big with 2 of my favorite YouTubers. All you're missing is Chris for the trifecta. Malik Willis bringing the boom. If you want, you could download the Malik Willis bringing the boom. What the hell is it called? Ringtone on the new online Big Blue website. We also have the app launching within the next 2 days. I think it's launching. It's in production right now in the Google App Store. We got the razzle saying the bad dog in the blue. Shut it down. Hit the thumbs up. Yeah, if you don't hit the thumbs up, you're dead to me. So you know you're supposed to do this. And I'm not going to sit here all day during the damn show until you hit the freaking thumbs up. You come into the room, hit the thumbs up. You're all adults.
It's
been a long day. Bad Dog and Tim in the morning. Here we go. Joey G, if both tackles are gone, are the Giants going to panic? So if Neal, and I'm assuming if he's talking about if Neal and Icky are not sitting there at 5, do you think the Giants, before I get into that question, my big question, and I'm not going to put you on the spot here, but who are your, well, I am going to put you on the spot. I lied. Who are your top 5 in the draft? You're the Bad Dog top 5
guys that I want us to take.
Just in general, just in general in talent.
I mean, I would think Hutchinson's got to be up there. I definitely think he's one of them. I think Icky and Neal are also up there. Thibodeau, I mean, I think Thibodeau's a top 5 talent. I worry about his personality a little bit. When he ran the 40 and then said, "I'm not doing any more drills," then I kind of worry about it a little bit. Outside of that, to me, it gets tough. I mean, people say Kyle Hamilton's a top 5 talent. They say Sauce Gardner's a top 5. I don't think Cross is. I know Trayvon Walker had a great combine, but I'm not putting him in the top 5 players. You could have said maybe Devin Lloyd is up there. I really don't know after the top 4. Like, we pick 5th, and I'm like, there's 4 guys that I really, really want, and they might not be there. So I don't know. It's tough. It is tough, but I would say those guys are probably, the top 6, top 7 guys. I think talent-wise in the draft. What the hell do I know? I don't know.
I say that all the time. I don't know any. People ask me, like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I never said I was smart. But all right, so the Giants, if you take a look at what they're doing in free agency and the money they don't have, you would assume, though, out of the top with the 5 or 7, that they would probably want to grab a tackle. I mean, you would go by that assumption, but if you're going to be a logical sports fan. And you had mentioned you wouldn't take Cross because I'm not a big Cross.
He's a top 10 guy. No,
I think he's like 20 to 25, if even that. But if the Giants, let's just say both tackles, because I don't think Jacksonville's going tackle because they franchised Cam Robinson, they signed the other guy, so I don't think they're going tackle.
Right.
I still think the Lions are going to go quarterback. I still think the Jets will probably end up taking a safety. So I think one of the 2 tackles are going to be there. I think either Icky or Neal is going to be there. If the Bad Dog had a choice, if you had to give him the Bad Dog stamp of approval, and you had a choice between Icky and Neal, who are you taking?
I mean, I'd hope that you could get. That's tough. I prefer Icky by about that much. I mean, they're 1-1A. I don't think you can lose. Well, you can definitely lose. I shouldn't say that. You get whoever we take could definitely suck.
Look at Eric Flowers. We're still waiting for him.
Let's be honest. But I like Icky a little bit more than Neal.
So that's always John Mooney says, "Good morning to you." Horse for Real says, "Good morning, Tim and Bad Dog. The Bad Dog and the Tim are all good. Glowinski is a reliable starter." I saw this when the signing came in for the Glowinski, and thank you for the comment, Steven. When the signing came in, I said, okay, not a bad option, pretty good option for what we have financially. But then I started looking at his career a little bit. And my question is, I did a video on this. My question is, do you think that because he didn't really progress in his career until he hit Indianapolis, and Indianapolis runs a certain blocking scheme. So is Glowinski, and I hate to say it, is he Nate Solder, who was successful in the blocking scheme in New England? Or is he, could potentially Glowinski just be a systems guy? And I worry about that. I really, after looking at it and seeing his career a little bit and watching something, I kind of worry that he's a little bit of a Indianapolis system offensive lineman.
That's a great point, because this is something, I don't think I might have mentioned this in the live stream. Glowinski played well in Indianapolis. They have a great offensive line. One thing that people may overlook when you're talking about an offensive line is these guys work off of one another. And if they don't build a chemistry and a unity and they're not on the same page, doesn't matter how good they are individually, they could end up sucking.
Right.
That's why if the Giants do go out and say they drafted 2 offensive linemen, which say they went Icky and Linderbaum, which I wouldn't have a problem with that. I love Tyler Linderbaum. Okay. But if they went that route with Andrew Thomas, you're going to go, oh my God, look at this Giants offensive line. But if that was the direction that they went with Glowinski over there and everything, you can't just expect them to come in week 1 and be the 1995 Dallas Cowboys offensive line. It takes time to build an offensive line. So yeah, like you said, Nate Solder was pretty damn good with the Patriots, and that was a systems thing. We'd have to see how Glowinski worked in this system with the other offensive linemen, and we have to hope that he is as serviceable as he was in Indianapolis. And the other thing is, and Nate Solder may have gotten away with this, because when you have a quarterback like Tom Brady,
it's a little different.
They make the offensive line look better than it is, because they know how to climb the ladder in a pocket, because they have a quick release, because they get rid of the ball fast. They're not indecisive in the pocket. They make that split-second decision. It can certainly make an offensive lineman look better than he is. Perhaps Solder got exposed over here because Bill Belichick wasn't the coach, because Tom Brady wasn't the quarterback. It's very possible.
And we have, and I could do this usually with my eyes closed. It's the two-time super chat. Salute to Tim and the Kevin, dropping by the office to pay the proper respect for all Giant fans around the world, slapping the stinky boys losers out the door. I could do that like this. Don't forget you got a paintbrush and when I
don't
even need to read it, because we all know Tuto.
Grazie, paisano. Grazie.
And I said it a million times, and I've said it before, and I'm going to keep saying it again. Tuto, how do you keep getting pictures of me with my shirt off? All right, here we go. See, there you go. Looks just like it. I got him wearing the Willie Beeman jersey and a shirt underneath it. Greg from Sweden is in the room. Greg, what's up, dog? What's up? And we also have Greg and Stu taking Neil. Everyone's grabbing Neil. I like Neil. I'm a Neil guy. I think he's got a little bit more of an upside potentially in reference to pass blocking. I think that's what we need. And I think a lot of people, when they talk about Cross, and a lot of scouts talk about Cross, they talk about that he is probably the best pass blocker, or most technically efficient pass blocker in the league. I mean, not in the league, in the draft. And
right.
And that's only one part of the game. That's one aspect of the game. And I think that's why some people have, not going to say fallen in love with him, but some people are like, oh yeah, he could be great.
Yeah.
And I've said this before about Rashawn Slater. I didn't like him in the draft. I still don't like him. And a lot of people are still saying to me, well, you were wrong about him, because look how well he did with the Chargers. And I said sort of the same thing. Yeah, Justin Herbert can make a lot of people look good. You know, Tom Brady can make a lot of offensive linemen look good. Would he have been as successful if he was sitting on this offensive line and this quarterback? I know everyone loves Daniel Jones. He's my favorite guy. We're going out and have beers.
Well, he might. I mean, I would do that with him. He likes to drink. It's pretty obvious.
Maybe he needs to read the playbook a little bit more.
I'd rather go out and drink with him as a quarterback of another team, but that's another video.
That's well, you know what? I'm thinking about this, and I was thinking about this before. Maybe, just maybe, when this happened, it's Daniel Jones at the 5. It's Daniel Jones at
never mind.
Maybe he was drinking that day. Maybe that was the problem. We got Frank in the room saying we're bringing the baby boom. Good day to the Tim and the Bad Dog. What are you thinking about Daniel Jones? You've seen him, and I think everyone knows we've seen your videos. And if you don't know who the Bad Dog is, you probably don't watch giant YouTube. So go watch it, or Laker games. He's got like my count. He's got 4,598,000 subscribers. So you need to know who he is and go subscribe to his channel. I don't know where my mods are today, but Daniel Jones, we've seen the body of work for 3 years. To me, I've said it before. You take away 5 of his games, out of the totality of his career, he's average at best.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's below average.
Yeah, well, I was being nice. This is a kinder, gentler Tim.
We know, Tim. We know that's not you. Facts over feelings. We know this. This is why you and I get along so well together.
I know.
Old school Gen Xers. F your feelings.
I don't care about your feelings. But year 4, we're not going to take the $22 million option. If we take the $22 million option, I'm a Detroit Lions fan.
Yeah, and Joe Shane is already getting cement shoes made for him.
Yeah, I mean, do you think, of course, this is make or break, but you've seen him, you've watched every game, you've commented on him on every game.
Yeah.
Do we think there's anything there that really tells you, okay, we can go into year 5? Because like I said, I'm tired of waiting 3 years for our franchise quarterback to be a franchise quarterback. Is there anything, talk me down, is there anything there? Besides that, he's a nice guy. He loves his mom. He walks, blind people across the street. Everything I've heard about him before. Is there anything there?
He's also a beer pong champion.
Beer pong champion.
You know why? Because this is something he's good at. He's accurate. He's
accurate at beer pong.
For years, my biggest issue with Daniel Jones, and I said this year 2, especially year 2. Year 1, it's like he's a rookie. He had a few good games. He showed flashes of, hey, he can be really good. He sold me that, hey, this kid, if he improves and cuts down the turnovers, he can be a really good quarterback. He did. He sold me on that because talent-wise, I feel like he's good. But he's never gotten better talent-wise. And in here was always my biggest issue because you can't coach instinct. You either have that, you can tell him, hey, get rid of the ball, do this, do that, but everybody's going to go back to what they know. You're always going to go back to your old habits. He can't climb the pocket. That pocket awareness has never shown up. And people are like, he has no time to throw. He's no time to throw. The line sucks. The line does suck. But if you look at quarterbacks with average time to throw from the pocket, he's right at the top at 2.5 seconds. Yep. So he does have time to throw.
In his second year, he was 3.5 seconds.
Right.
And number 3 in the league with the amount of time in the pocket.
Right. So on obvious passing downs, when it's 3rd and 11 and they bring the house and nobody can block, that's different. But when it's 2nd and 5 and he sits back there and takes a sack because he just doesn't climb the pocket or he doesn't feel that rush coming from the outside. If you go back and look at Daniel Jones' sacks, I would say 3/4 of them come from the edge. I don't think that there's really people blowing up the middle and getting to him on a regular basis. I think it comes from the edge, and that's where a quarterback needs to step up. It's okay if they come around the edge. The best way to get pressure on the quarterback's up the middle because he can't step into the throws and he has a hard time eluding the rush that way. If you can climb the pocket, don't matter how fast the edge is, if you can step up in the pocket and throw, you don't need to be mobile to do that. Tom Brady's done it for years. Just have the pocket awareness. Eli Manning had it.
Yeah.
Just slide around and find somewhere to go with the ball. And you've mentioned this before, Tim. Most of Daniel Jones's runs, and we're like, oh, look at how fast he is. And he's running. He can do this. They're all scripted runs.
Yep.
He doesn't really scramble.
It was taking advantage of a guy like
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers' yards come off of scrambles.
Yep.
Russell Wilson's yards come off of getting out of the pocket and getting yards. They're not scripted for them to take off and run.
Yep.
So for me, it's always been in between the ears for Daniel Jones, and the fact that he has not figured this out in 3 years, hasn't figured out how to slide, hasn't figured out how to avoid injury. It's very tough to say this guy deserves a 5th-year option, which he certainly is not going to get, or a second contract, which he's not going to get. Joe Shane, this is not Joe Shane's guy.
No.
So Joe Shane's going to
I love the Joe Shane comment with a couple of weeks ago when he said, Daniel Jones is our quarterback for now.
Right now. Yeah, of course.
For now. I thought that was very telling. Tom says, good morning, Tim and the Bad Dog. Let's see here. Do we draft the Gardner? It's the great question. Can never have too many corners.
It's possible, Greg. At this point, like I mentioned earlier, they're probably going to either trade or cut Bradbury to save the $12 million. It's very possible because if we lose Bradbury, which they should because of the money,
Yep.
You're going to have in Bradbury only has one more year in his contract after this year anyway. You want a lockdown corner? Sauce Gardner's a possibility. Didn't think I never even thought about it until the whole Bradbury thing came up, and I'm like, yeah, you might need him.
If you had a choice between Stingley and Sauce,
I like Sauce.
you like Sauce?
Yeah.
I think he's handsy.
I'm Italian, man. Of course.
Well, I know that. That's why I always get lost. One of my favorite phrases is he was lost in the sauce.
Yeah. Daniel Jones may be lost in the sauce too, but
Daniel Jones needs to go get lost in Newark, and we'll be fine. I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I'll be happy. I still have the money for the bus ticket for Isaac Yitem for the $1.98 we raised. I can give that to Daniel Jones. I think Sauce is a little handsy. I think he's a little, and I know people talk about the fact that he didn't give up a touchdown. Well,
you did DeAndre Baker.
DeAndre Baker didn't. Had that one work out for us, and he was a little bit. Well, he's a little bit crazy, but there's but I get a little worried that he's a little Eli Apple handsy. When Eli Apple came out, first thing I said is if he does not learn how to play without his hands on the receiver, he's going to be in a lot of trouble in this league, and I kind of worry about that. Same thing with the Sauce.
Yeah, that's always a problem. I mean, I always talk about the Eli Apple thing, and I'm like, people thought, my Daniel Jones reaction was bad, because I did it live on YouTube. I was not doing live things on YouTube in 2016, but there is a video on my page of my reaction to Eli Apple getting drafted the day after. And I'm more pissed in that video the day after than I was when we took well, maybe not. I don't know if I could be more pissed, but I was as pissed the day after. I always say when the Bears traded up and took Leonard Floyd, I swear to God, my neighbor heard me scream, "Mother!" I swear to God, my wife was on the phone with her. She's like, "What?" They're like, "What's that?" Like, "Oh, that's just Kevin. He's not happy with the draft or whatever."
He's not happy with what's going on right now.
And then they took Eli Apple, and I lost it. I'm like, "What?" Yeah, he sucked. I think Sauce will be better than Eli Apple.
I like the technical perspective there. He sucked. That's good. I think that's going to be the bad dog sound effect. He sucked. Because I think that just to me wraps it up in its totality. He sucks. We have Dom in the draft, baby. Yeah, we're gonna have the bad dog. He sucks. Cross is a technical disaster. He's winging it at best. He's like a golfer shooting par with a terrible swing. Honestly, I think that's a good way to actually phrase and sum up what I think about Cross too. Because I'm a golfer. Well, I don't play golf anymore, but I did play golfer. I have beautiful swing, but the problem was it just didn't know where it was going to go. So I was technically proficient, but I was terrible.
Right.
Kind of like some other people we have on the offensive line. But so if you do watch Cross, he kind of is the same way. He does not seem to be technically proficient, but in college, he got the job done. If you had to rank where Cross may go, I say if he goes between 20 and 25, it's too high in the draft. I'd probably put him lower that. Where, like I said, I've been wrong before, but where would you put Cross in the annals of the draft right now? Is he in the top 32? Is he in the top 48?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's more of a back end of the first round guy. The only thing I could say, like Mike says, I guess I would rather have the ugly swing and have the results than have the technically good swing and have bad results, because results are really all that matters at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, I've had guys.
So you're saying I'm a sucky golfer?
Well, you said you were a sucky golfer. I mean,
I did. I remember that.
Listen, the only reason
I forget shit.
The only reason that I used to golf was so that I could get sauced. So there you go.
So you could drink.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's a back end of the first round guy. I haven't done a lot of Giants live streams because there just hasn't been much to talk about. The Lakers keep me pretty busy, but I do know that, like on my videos, people are like, "Oh, take cross this, cross that." Someone's like, "Go take Cross at 7." I'm like, no, you do not take Cross in the top 10. Back end of the first round guy. That's just my opinion. Listen, if we trade away the hell back there and got him, that's not going to.
I'd be fine with that. If we picked him up in the late rounds or even early second,
second, right? At 36, if he's there at 36 and they wanted to go that route, I'm not gonna complain about it.
I'm good with that. Now, Mr. Samuel's the guy. You know what? I'm gonna ask this question because you know what? Because we all know. Gotta get to work. It's time because we all know who he is. They say it, but it's not it. He is Willie Beeman.
My name is
Number 13. He can't wear number 7 because of Melheim. But yes, I have a number 7 jersey, and that pissed everyone off. Is the bad dog jumping on your dreaming? Gotta do the whole thing. Are you jumping on the Malik Willis train? And if you say no, you will get banned.
Okay.
That has happened to multiple people at once.
I am at the station. We'll just put it that way.
Ooh.
I am at the station. If they listen, I do not want Malik Willis top 10. I don't think he's a top 10 pick. But
okay, and Bad Dog just had to leave. He had to go out because he had to take out the trash. Or maybe I just had to take out the trash. What do you mean you would take him to the top 10? What the hell's wrong with
my
you?
biggest issue with
Have you ever
Malik
watched
Willis,
this show?
my biggest issue with Malik Willis going to the Giants is two things. Number one, Joe Shane has he has a cushion, right? If you're a GM and you have a cushion with a crappy ass quarterback, you're either going to make Daniel Jones look really good, and then people are going to be like, "Ooh, I want to go play for this guy. He's going to look really good." Or
would it extend the cushion though if you took a rookie quarterback?
I don't know. Like you would think that with Gettleman, it didn't, right? It didn't with Shermer either. Like Shermer had a rookie quarterback and they fired him the next year. So in essence, you would think it, but I think if you do that immediately, it's like you're tied to this guy, and if he fails, you're done, right?
Right.
Malik Willis's issue to me is not his talent. He's raw. I think he's raw. I think he's got some work to do. I don't know if the Giants can afford to take him and try to develop him with the garbage that's around him. That's my biggest problem. Him going to Pittsburgh made a lot of sense because they're a good team and they already have good stuff around him. I still could think he'd go to Pittsburgh and Trubisky could be the backup or be the stopgap, and then they switch roles. If the Giants were to move back and get Malik Willis, I got no problem with it. I worry about Malik Willis coming into a bad situation with a makeshift offensive line. And I know that he can run. I know he's a scrambler. I know he can move around, but he's a rookie. And when you move from college to the NFL, it's such a big jump in speed and defensive schemes, and you have to really be quick. And when you're getting destroyed, or you're getting hit from the blind side, I just worry. His receiving room sucks. We don't know what Kadarius Toney is. Sterling Shepard's hurt. Kenny Galladay's never healthy. Like, I don't know how Malik Willis could succeed here. And I would be worried that he would get stunted because he'd have such a bad year.
I'm going to tell you how he's going to succeed. I'll tell you this.
All right, tell me. Let me hear it, Tim.
We all know the Shane scouted him twice in Buffalo. He scouted him. He sent scouts at the Syracuse game and the Ole Miss game. Ole Miss game was a bad game. Syracuse game, they lost in the goal line, saying that he got stopped on 4th and 1. He stood behind him at the Pro Bowl, Senior Bowl for an extended period of time. If you're looking at a quarterback that is most like or most Josh Allen-esque, it's Malik Willis. It fits the mold. You go out and get Tyrod Taylor. I'm going to give Tyrod Taylor $8 million, 11 of that guaranteed. Have you come in? I know he knows the Shane. He knows the Dable. I'm going to get Davis Webb, who is a gym rat, who is not known in the annals of the NFL for his talent, but for his acclimate in the quarterback room and in the weight room. You have the perfect mentor for Malik Willis. You let Malik Willis sit for 13, 14 games. You have Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, not a bad player when he could stay healthy. He has the similar skill set as Josh Allen, but doesn't have the arm, does not have the ability, because especially at more of his age. Mm-hmm. So you now can run. They always say when you are getting the backup quarterback, he needs to mirror your starting quarterback. Tyrod Taylor is here. Daniel Jones is, well, you can't even see my arm. He's all the way over here because they're two different ends of the spectrum.
True.
And the Giants came out and said multiple times, and I never understood this, we want a mobile running quarterback. They don't even match. Our backup and our starter the styles don't even match. Not even close.
Here's what I'll say about Malik Willis, okay?
Be careful.
If Joe Shane really likes him, take him, because you make a good point. He could sit for a year And then you could start to build that team and put them in there year 2. You could work on that offensive line this year because Shane, again, has had the propensity to find good offensive linemen later in the draft. So if you really like Malik Willis, listen, if they take Malik Willis, I'm not going to react like I did when they did with Jones. Again, he's not my preference, but I'm not going to be upset because I like I did with Dave Gettleman, and it bit me in the ass. I got to believe that I got to put faith in a GM for the first couple of years and say, okay, he's taking over a shitty situation. I have to trust in what he's doing. If he likes Malik Willis enough to take him at 7, we got to believe he sees something we don't. That's why this man's paid millions of dollars, and that's why we're sitting here on YouTube, okay? Because or in the chat section, I always say, listen, everybody can say they're an expert, they're an armchair quarterback, and I'm the same way. I'm a fan. So, we should do this, we should do that. But there's a reason I'm here. Gettleman sucks, Gettleman's ass, but there's a reason that I'm here, and Gettleman is
Gettleman is over there. Well, I think we all know, though. I think we all know I'm not an armchair quarterback. I'm awesome. I'm wonderful. I know everything. And I think everyone just needs to deal with that because that's what I am. I have to add that in because people are like, you're so cocky and arrogant. I'm like, I'm joking.
Yeah. It's okay. But yeah, if they like Malik Willis enough to do that, I'm not going to throw a fit. I would just hope that Joe Shane would be able to build a team around Malik Willis. And I would hope that Daboll's system is perfect for Malik Willis. If they feel Daboll's system is perfect for Malik Willis, then they should go after him. But again, to me, that's the big thing. Does it fit? Does that fit? Daniel Jones' rookie season, they can say, yeah, Pat Shurmur's system is better for Daniel Jones than it was. But as you mentioned, the backup quarterback, it was Eli Manning that year. Daniel Jones had Eli Manning to fall back on. Daniel Jones had a lot of mentorship.
Similar type of
Daniel Jones lost that when Eli Manning left and when Pat Shurmur left, and inevitably he crashed and burned.
Right.
So, yeah, if they feel like Tyrod Taylor can help Malik Willis out and Tyrod Taylor can play for a year, much like I just said the situation in Pittsburgh, Trubisky got 2 years. So if the Giants want to take Malik Willis and they want Tyrod Taylor to start for 14, 15 games, let Malik Willis play a couple games at the end of the year like Mahomes did, but Tyrod Taylor's your starter, then next year you flip him and Tyrod Taylor's your backup and Malik Willis is a starter. Again, I'm not going to – it makes sense. Not my preference, but I'm not going to have a fit. If they're going to take a quarterback, it better be Malik Willis because I feel like he's got the highest ceiling of anybody in the draft. I definitely feel that. I think he's more raw and needs more work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's to me, Malik is going to be boom or bust. There's going to be, I've said it a million times, I don't think there's going to be a gray area. I think he's going to be Vic Ultralight or he's going to be a Kiwi Smith. I don't think there's going to be anything, or he's going to be Andre Ware. I don't think there's going to be anything in the middle for him.
Where going back to the old Lions on that.
There was a Houston game on a Houston College game, an Andre Ware game. That's what I saw it the other day on ESPN 497 or whatever it was at the time. John says, dude, I love listening to these streams because you two guys are the most level-headed and smart football. Not like people over on the Twitter sphere. Everyone knows I love the Twitterites. They're my favorite people. I
listen, once in a while I go over there and I see the Twitter stuff and I gotta laugh. Twitter's pretty good. Twitter's good for a laugh.
Twitter gives you content. Hurst for real say DJ's not even close to Eli. No comparison. No, I agree. Mike so succinctly puts out, can't climb the pocket because there is none. I agree with that and I disagree with that. Because it's in my mind, and I'm not picking on you, Mike, but people are like, well, he never had time to throw. He never had a clean pocket. If he dropped back 30 times, you're telling me 30 out of 30, he did not have time to throw. He didn't have time to move in the pocket. There was plenty of times that he got hit directly in front of him in his line of sight and still didn't see the guy.
Yeah.
I think of the Marcus Golden sack all the time. Yeah. Marcus Golden didn't come from his blind side. Marcus Golden came right at him. And he didn't even flinch. It's like, and this is the thing that bothers me. And I don't want to keep bashing Daniel Jones. This is the thing that really bothers me, Mr. Bad Dog. It's not just his pocket presence that's terrible. He has no awareness. Right. I've said this a million times. Eli Manning used to look like he would go down like he got shot before he got hit. Daniel Jones is almost like, and then he gets hit and he's like, well, where'd that come from?
You're right. It's true. It's true. Yeah, I think people used to kill Eli. Oh, he just goes right down to the ground. I'm like, yeah, you stand there and take a hit from that guy.
Right.
And stand there and take a guy running at you full speed that weighs 325 pounds. No thanks.
And see what happens.
Right. No thanks.
I'm going to tell you, it hurts. It hurts to
You
tackle
don't think
people.
him- Not just the pocket awareness and the inability to climb the pocket. He makes bad decisions. How many times did he turn the ball over inside the red zone? How many red zone touchdowns do we have with him there? You know what I mean? How about the interception he threw? I don't even remember. I can't remember what game it was where it might have been against, it wasn't Tampa. I forget, where he ran across the field. And he threw it right to the nose tackle.
Oh,
he threw it
God,
across
yeah.
the field right to never had an interception in his
I
career.
forgot
He
about
threw it,
that
the guy
one.
was on the ground. He threw it right to him. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Like, what are you doing?
I forgot about that.
What?
That was towards before he got hurt.
What's that?
That was just before he got hurt.
Yeah.
Like a game or two. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
So I'm
You
like,
hit the nail on the head, it says right here. Swing Culture TV. You hit the nail on the head.
Hey, thank you.
I don't know what
usually
you
miss, but I'm glad I can hit one.
I'm
like
like
Daniel
20
Jones, once out of every 5. We're good.
I'm 20 minutes behind on the chat, so it could be on anything. You can hit the nail on the head of how wonderful I am. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Oh, that could be too. Hey, man.
I got too many things here. Oh my God. People stop leaving. I hate when people leave comments. I love people. Oh, Ohio. Ohio.
Malik Willis. Bring him the
He's coming here. You're either on the Malik Willis Express or you're going to be under it. That's what I tell people. That's what I tell people all day long. Thank you for the super chat. Of course, all super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. And I'm only doing that to buy my way into heaven. So don't think I'm wonderful.
Hey,
That's what I tell people.
I'll see you when I get there.
Bad dog, you walked into the Willis Fanboy Central. You did. I don't lie.
Listen, Tim's been talking about Malik Willis for a long time.
August of last year.
I've been talking with him about Malik Willis for a while. I know what I'm getting into. I know.
He knew. He knew what he 9 to 10:30 in the morning. I don't think he knew what he got into. He's like, oh my God, how does he get so much freaking energy at 10:30 in the morning? There's 124 people in the room, and I think there's only 50 likes. So
bang the like button.
Hit the like button, or like I've done it before. I just won't talk. I'll just sit here until we get up to 70. I just won't say anything. I have no problem with it. I think Bad Dog might want some coffee. I think so.
I had coffee. I already had coffee and breakfast. We're good.
Nikki. I haven't seen you in a while. Nikki, what do we say here? Nikki says, would you take the Ajobu in the second round if he drops it? All right. Is he going to fall down like a Jalen Smith did? You know, Jalen Smith tore his knee in the ball game and he fell down to early second. I actually wanted the Giants to take him, but I knew that they never really made those type of moves. I mean, do you think? I think he still fall. I think he does fall into the second. Do you think that's someone? Someone that I would want to pick up because I'm a big Devin Lloyd fan.
I am too.
I think I did a video saying that if we got Thibodeau at 5 and then we got Devin Lloyd at 7, we fixed our defense and then we could focus the rest of the time on the offense. Yeah.
And again, with Joe Shane, the way he does things, the way he's found linemen late in the draft, it's possible they go 2 defensive players in the top 10. The Jabo thing, you also got to remember, I would do it in the second round. Absolutely. I think Jalen Smith's injury was worse, but the guy that I think of is Miles Jack. Miles Jack fell to the second round because of injury. Right. And I remember I wanted the Giants to that was the 2016 draft because I was so mad that the Giants did not take a linebacker, which I said, I think my exact words were we needed linebacker like an MRFer on there, trying to keep it PG for the kids. That Eli Apple rant video on my page is not PG. It is rated R with a bullet. But I was not at, but so I was like, in the second round, I'll take the chance of Miles Jack. I would definitely take a Jabo in the second round. If he fell to us at 36, Abikwe is another guy that a lot of people are talking about 36 for the Giants, but it depends on what we do in the first 2 picks. A Jabo at 36, I would definitely take a shot at it. Definitely. I think he's got the talent where listen, people heal from a torn Achilles.
Right. It's not like you're not going to get
damage to his knee or a neck thing. I would definitely, if he's there at 36, hell yeah. Why not?
Well, it's something you don't see multiple Achilles tears.
Right.
Because it's a repetitive stress injury on your tendon. It's not something that you overextend. Well, usually it is because you overextended the tendon, but it's not something you see multiple. You never see a guy, well, I don't want to say never, but you usually don't see a guy have multiple Achilles tears after the initial one. Greg, of course, is over in Sweden. Good morning, Greg. Yeah, Tim, I love you. I love you too, my brother. But Willis' upside is Tyrod Taylor. Next year is full of amazing quarterbacks. I wanted to get to this comment because I wanted to get your opinion on this. And I'm only vamping now because I forgot my question. No, I'm just joking. Next year's draft is supposed to be quarterback heavy. And I keep saying to people, A, you don't know where the Giants are going to draft. B, you don't know if Bryce Young or anyone else is going to pull a Tua and get hurt or have a bad year. You don't know. So you can't tell me next year is going to be a better quarterback draft because we don't know, because it's not next year yet. Yep. So if you are the Giants, and I know we know your opinion now, Malik Willis. Hopefully we're going to change your opinion before you leave. Because if not, I'll just keep you on here till like 4 PM until you change your opinion, because I got nothing better to do today. Do you think that if Malik Willis is sitting, let's say you're Shane, you love Malik Willis. He's sitting there at 5 or 7 or wherever you're going to get him, and you know you're going to move on from Daniel Jones. Do you have in your mindset, do you think to yourself, I'm going to pass on this guy because I might get Bryce Young next year?
Yeah, that's why he makes big money. That's his decision. There's two things about this. Going into this year, everybody was talking about Sam Howell. Sam Howell this, Sam Howell that. Sam Howell sucked. Me being a Sooner fan, there's a lot of talk about Spencer Rattler, Heisman favorite. Spencer Rattler this, Spencer Rattler that. Spencer Rattler sucked. Got benched for freshman Caleb Williams in the Texas game and then transferred to South Carolina. Okay, so he sucked. So Bryce Young had a great year. And Bryce Young may have a great year next year. He may not. Alabama quarterbacks, they don't really ever trust Alabama quarterbacks. They don't know a lot of good Alabama quarterbacks, just like Ohio State, just like Florida, just like USC. There's just certain schools that I don't like quarterbacks from. And a lot of times, if you look at the really good quarterbacks in the league, they don't always come from the biggest schools.
Right.
So you just never know.
Daniel Jones played at Duke. Right.
Well, Drew Brees played at Purdue. I mean, that's not a huge school. Tom Brady played at Michigan, but he never played. So Aaron Rodgers was at Cal. I mean, that's not the greatest school of all time. But the other thing is you don't know where the hell you're picking next year. You don't know what pick you're going to have. You're not going to go into the year going, well, let's tank for one right away. They may end up with the number 1 pick. They may end up with the number 9 pick. They may end up with the number 11 pick.
Right.
We win 6 and 11, and we're picking 12. Is Bryce Young going to fall to 12? There's always a quarterback that pops up too that you don't expect.
Like Willis.
So it's a big question mark. But again, and unless Joe Shane is absolutely infatuated and in love and wants to marry Malik Willis to the New York Giants, he can't take a chance like, I'm kind of in on the guy. I like his upside. Let's take a shot. He can't be like that. Right. You're picking 7th or picking 5th. You got like, yes, he's the guy. I want him. No doubt about it. No question. He's our guy. We're going with Malik Willis. He has to have that mindset. If he has any doubts, you can't. Because Dave Gettleman made a huge mistake. Oh, I watched Daniel Jones play one series at the Senior Bowl, and I loved him. Yeah, well, you should have watched him a little bit more than that.
A little bit. People always say to me, they say Tim, and that's what they say to me because that's my name. You have gotten a lot of the drafts right in the last 3 years, and now you're talking about Malik Willis, and this was like the first guy people are like you've really gotten pumped up about and you've really gotten excited about, and they're like, how do you do your draft analysis? And I did want to just quickly show people how I go through the draft and what my process is to thinking about players and individuals. So normally what I do is I sit down on my desk, I get my pen and pencil ready, and I take my magic 8 ball. Will the Giants draft Malik Willis? Yes. Looks good. There we go. That's how I do my draft analysis, guys.
I think Gettleman used the same technique.
I think Gettleman was missing the little thing inside the 8 ball when he did it.
Yeah, he was missing the little thing inside between his ears too when he drafted it.
Mike Lee says Willis has experience with playing with garbage and winning. Taylor can help develop Willis and bring in the Vic to supplements. My thing about Malik Willis, everyone points out that he had a bad year last year. He still accounted for 43 touchdowns on a bad Liberty team, got 8 wins and won a bowl game. The season before, and they're like, well, he never played any top talent. He played something like against 4 top 25 teams last year. And then he had his team in the top 25 last year. And I've said it before, don't watch, and I'm going to say this again real quickly. Go watch Malik Willis. Do not watch the highlight films. Watch his game in his entirety. And you could find him on YouTube and see what he does when the pocket breaks down, see what he does when the play is going well, see what he does when he's got a receiver open, see what he does when he doesn't have a receiver, but don't watch the highlights, watch his game in his totality, and that will make you fall more in love with him because people will be like, his biggest issue is he locks down the receivers or he doesn't go through his progressions. If you watch some of the games that he didn't go through his progressions, he didn't have time. He didn't have time to have more than one look before he was trying to not get killed. And the difference is with him and Daniel Jones, I've said it before, to me, Malik Willis is a point guard who can create his own shot. Daniel Jones runs by design.
Correct.
And
the other thing is, now I did watch, I don't watch game film, but like I watched every play Malik Willis ran against Ole Miss, right? Because I'm like, they got killed that game. Let's see what he does.
Terrible game.
Had a bad first half, much better second half. The one thing that I noticed, and I brought this up a few times in my live streams, was I read the comments and they were like, oh, well, Malik Willis has no talent. Malik Willis has no talent around him. Talent sucks. He's good. Talent sucks. You can't play with no talent. And I keep thinking to myself, but guys, and I'm not saying they're Giants fans, but I'm like, we're the liberty of the NFL. We don't have talent around Malik Willis. He's not coming into a good situation. So can he succeed at the NFL level with Liberty talent around him? Because that is what we are. Our running back is always hurt. Our wide receivers are always hurt. Our offensive line stinks. Can he succeed here with what the hell we have right now? But like you said, Tim, if they, or like I said, if they love him, and like you said, sit him for a year and they want to build around him, put him in there year 2. Hey, that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. But again, this is going to come down to Joe Shane needing to be 1,000% aboard the Malik Willis Express. He needs to be driving it. So he needs to push you the hell out of the way and say, I got this. And he needs to be the guy driving that bullet train. Okay. That's how much he's got to be in. He's got to fight you to drive that train. That's how much
I just can't believe you dogged Liberty like that by saying that we're the Giants were the Liberty of the NFL. Liberty won 8 games.
Sorry to any Liberty fans. Sorry to any Liberty fans out there. I didn't mean it.
I was like, wow, man, you're dogging these people. I mean, come on. Let's see. Mike says, I love Lloyd at 5. And I love it. Offensive tackle at 5 and Lloyd at 7. I'm good with that. I could do with that. I'm fine with that. Christian Harris in the 2nd round. Any thoughts?
No, I don't know who Christian Harris is. I gotta be completely honest with you.
Well, he's going to be in the 2nd round.
I don't know who it is. I gotta be honest. I really do have to start doing more research on the later rounds. I do. I haven't done that. I've been lazy with that, but
I did. Yeah, I know. I did my top 10 list and it took forever to get my top 10 list out. I'm trying to find something here. What am I looking for here? I got a question for you. Oh, wait, we get to that question. Oh, we got my favorite thing here. Cocker Cash. Tim, you need the bad dog as a bouncer at the Poppycockers. I assume, do you know about the Poppycockers?
I know all about
Tom's
endeavors. Yes.
You know all about the Poppycockers because you want to know why. If you're looking for your place to go get your Poppycock, there's no better place to go in the West End. There's Poppycockers, the best in adult entertainment, and we all know the bad dog will be making a special guest appearance at the Poppycockers, and it's 2-for-1 dance night for all trolls. I just laugh because people love the Poppycocker shirts.
It should. Why wouldn't you?
I thought it was crazy though. People were like, "You need Poppycocker gear," and I put it up, and I'm like, "Why are people buying this?"
Yeah, of course.
Because I always said this before. People want to go to a pretend strip club that's in my brain.
Why not? Why not? I always say the same thing. Me, I'm not a partaker at the time of 420, but for some reason I started saying that in my streams. People are like, you need 420 merch, so of course I make it, and it's definitely the best selling merch that I have. So yeah.
It's crazy. James Williams, my brother from another mother. Talking to James last night or the other night. Morning, my brothers. Tim and the Bad Dog. What's up, room? No matter how anyone feels about Malik, the DJ experiment is over. We need a quarterback.
Yes.
I don't. Oh man, we got it. Where's my moderator? Where's the moderator?
Where are the mods?
Where are the mods at? Because we all know.
Get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
We got to put them in timeout because
get away with it. Not up in here. Not up in here.
We're gonna make sure we block those people. I'm very upset with my moderators right now because I don't know where
that by the way is a great sound clip from The Hangover.
Oh, I love
Not up in here.
T-Brad is actually the one that brought that up to me in one of the streams, and he's like, "You got to have that. You got to have that." Troll, yeah, John. I got the troll in the chat. Wait a minute, how many likes do we have? 72. All right, I'm not going to argue. Well, Bad Dog says not enough, so we're just going to sit here.
100.
We got to wait till we get to 80.
How many likes do we have? 76.
Shut up. You're not supposed to talk until we get to 80.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus Christ. All right, we're still at 72, and I can't go that long. The Giants need a big mauler in the offensive line.
We need a lot on the offensive line. You do.
Yes. Where else can you go for this hard-hitting analysis? We need talent.
We need yeah, exactly. And put us on ESPN. We're as good as they are.
Yeah.
The Giants need talent.
Giants need talent. We're better than the ESPN. We need
Why
talent.
win games in the end? Listen, that was John Madden. Hey, listen, you run a little post here, you catch them all in the end zone, boom, it's a touchdown. I mean, he was the greatest ever.
See, you know what the best part is? Bad Dog summed it up. All right, everyone, we're out of here because Bad Dog just summed it all up. We need talent. Stream is over. The stream is done. This free agency has been so wacky. You have guys that have dropped out of the sky into free agency, such like Miles Jack. You have guys that just fell out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about this, and when last year I always said, we're not going to have money this year. And I didn't think the free agency class is going to be as crazy it was this year.
Yeah, it was insane.
I mean, as a Giant fan, are you sitting there thinking to yourself, there are so many guys in this year's class that we probably could have had if we didn't go with Leonard Williams, Kenny G,
God, yeah,
Corey Jackson.
Absolutely. You know what really irks me a little bit is the Hassan Reddick thing, because Hassan Reddick has been rumored to go to the Giants forever, and he was cheap, and we had a chance to take him a number of times, and we don't. And he ends up in Philadelphia, which I thought was a good move for Philadelphia. Hassan Reddick has kicked the hell out of us, and now we got to play him twice a year. But it's always guys like that. I couldn't believe the trades this year, Tim, have been that. I did not see Russell Wilson going to Denver. I did not see Carson Wentz going to the Commanders.
I would have taken Wild Dogs.
The Commanders. I didn't see the Commanders being the Commanders either this offseason. Devontae Adams, Khalil Mack. It's been an insane.
Sean Watson.
Right, Deshaun Watson to Cleveland. Who the hell saw that one? Well, the Eagle fans said, we're in on Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson saying he didn't want to go to Philadelphia last year, but Eagle fans go, we're going to get Deshaun Watson. I don't know if I've ever seen an Eagle content creator say the Eagles are going to go out and get somebody, and they've actually gotten them.
Right.
I don't think that's ever happened. But stop reading this guy's blog. I say that where they get their information is the guy equivalent of me writing a blog. Listen to Ian Rappaport. Listen to the guys that know what the hell they're talking about. Please.
I like the guys. You know what? And I'm not going to get you in trouble because I always get in trouble. I like the guys that go on Twitter because I love Twitter. I like the guys that go on Twitter and post quotes from themselves. Because I always want to go on Twitter and go, Online Blue is freaking awesome, says Tim from Online Big Blue.
I guess they're doing that.
Yeah,
I guess they're doing that.
Yeah. I tell you something, I'm not going to get you in trouble. We got L in the room doing it. L. Hey, Tim. Hey, Dog. What's up, G Nation? We had a question about CJ Stroud. Of course, he's going to be next year. The thought is, what does the Bad Dog think of the Stroud?
No. What school does he go to?
I know.
Do not like Ohio State quarterbacks. I don't like them. CJ Stroud had 3 of the best wide receivers in the country this year. Dwayne Haskins. Remember Dwayne Haskins? 50 touchdowns. Never mind the fact that most of those yards were 7-yard passes that Terry McLaurin and Campbell took to the house. Never mind the fact that he played with 6 NFL players on the offense with him. And J.K. Dobbins was drafted the year after. I don't like Ohio State quarterback. Now Urban Meyer's back. So that's fantastic for that. Urban Meyer is that's a different topic, but he is such a scumbag. I called it before the year started, and I don't get many things right at all, but I said he'll never make it. He'll never make it out of that year in Jacksonville. He'll be gone by the end of the year. Yeah. He's gone. Best thing that could have happened to Trevor Lawrence too, buddy.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it was funny because I mentioned the same thing. I was joking with Dom, and I said he'll be fired by week 8.
Yeah.
Because how do you take your rookie quarterback in like your first game, throw 47 times and not run the ball?
He's an idiot. When he brought in Tim Tebow, you should have known this.
You should have known something. You should have known something. There's a good question here. Hostetler and Sims were different quarterbacks, and they were successful in the same system. People forget one thing about that comment. The Giants also in 86 and not in 90, but in 86, they were backed up by Jeff Rutledge, which was a similar quarterback to Phil Simms.
Yeah.
And while Hostetler and Simms were different in regards to the fact that Hostetler had mobility, Simms was not a statue in the pocket. He was a pocket passer.
Correct.
But when he came into the league at a Morehead State, Simms was a scrambler.
Yep.
People forget these things. It's okay. Because you know what? I'm old.
So am I.
So
So am I.
I remember when
Right. Look at Phil Simms' rushing numbers. Now they're not going to
blow you away.
They're not going to jump off the page, but it's not like he was running for 20 yards a year. Simms was running for a couple hundred yards a year. It's probably part of the reason he kept getting hurt at the beginning of his career, but he could definitely run. There was no doubt about that.
And the Ron Earhart system was not built as a running quarterback for a running quarterback. It was built for a pocket passer.
Right.
So I mean, it's a little bit different than having a complete Daniel Jones who's in the pocket and Tyrod Taylor who's moving out. Evan Ingram's always in the room.
One thing real quick about Hostetler. Remember, Hostetler didn't really play much for the Giants.
No.
I mean, he came in the end of 1990 and won us a Super Bowl, which I'm always grateful for Haas for that. Haas was the man. I love Jeff Hostetler. And then Ray Hanley decided he was going to make Hostetler a starter the next year.
And I think that was
he got benched for Phil Simms in the middle of the year.
And I think that was the issue why we did not have a more competitive run at 91.
Right. And so Hostetler was successful in a small window for us. And I think his mobility certainly helped, especially in that Niners game, which is the greatest Giants game ever. I love that game more than any Super Bowl we won. I love being able to knock Joe Montana and them damn Niners out in Candlestick and night. I hated that team with a passion. So I love to see them get knocked out. But Hostetler was successful in a small window. But when he had the ability to start and teams were prepared for Hostetler, he got benched for Simms. So I don't know. I would say he was successful, but like I said, for that small period of time, he definitely was. He definitely won some huge games for us. He
was so great of a quarterback that he was on the punt team, that he would play wide receiver because he was just trying to get on the field. He could never actually beat out Phil Simms beyond having an injury. Fork Tommy's got a good question. And I did a video on this. Would Dexter Lawrence have more of an impact in New York if he was in a 4-3 scheme? But that's not the question I want to ask you. Everyone talks about the Daniel Jones option, but Dexter Lawrence has almost an $11 million option coming up.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Goodbye. Dexter Lawrence made no impact. Oh, he made an impact last year. Well, let's jump off sides on a missed field goal to lose the game. But seriously, Dexter Lawrence, I mean, listen, this is all you got to look at, okay? You talked about this, and you made a great point with Leonard Williams. Dalvin Tomlinson was there. Leonard Williams flourished because Dalvin Tomlinson was good. Dalvin Tomlinson took on the double team. Dalvin Tomlinson made Leonard Williams a beast. Dexter Lawrence,
King of the almost sack.
Right. But
that ringtone is available on the website.
But he had 11 and a half sacks. He actually was getting to the quarterback when Tomlinson was there.
Well, see, but you got to remember it was.
Hear ye, come one, come all, for it's the king of the covered sack.
He had a good secondary.
That's true, too. We did have good coverage. But Leonard Williams kind of fell off this year a little bit without Dalvin Tomlinson. Dexter Lawrence didn't really step up. Is he worth $11 million? Is he $11 million worth of impact? I don't believe that he is. I just don't believe that. I don't believe so. He was a reach at 17. I liked Dexter Lawrence coming out of the draft, but I thought they drafted him too early. And to be quite frank, I was kind of in a fog after they took Daniel Jones that year. So that draft is what a disaster that draft was.
It looks like the draft
Dexter
and the
Lawrence,
trade.
DeAndre Baker. I think he got Julian Love in that draft, which was actually pretty good. Ballantine was in that draft.
Yeah.
He decided to take an offensive lineman. I don't remember his name. It was George, whatever that kid was from Kentucky, 7th round pick. He just loaded up on secondary guys that year too.
Now, I've said this before, and I'm curious. Leonard Williams, everyone knows, another guy I'm going out and have beers with. $28 million. If Wink normally run, I should say, because we don't know what he's going to run now. He normally runs an aggressive style 3-4 defense. Mm-hmm. And that's what he ran in Baltimore. And he runs an attacking style defense. There's certain players I don't think fit into that system. And I think that Leonard Williams is one of those guys. And people will tell me he's going to fill the Calais Campbell role. Well, Calais Campbell is a different player, and he's a different size, and he's a different skill set. I just don't see Leonard Williams excelling in this type of attacking style defense where he's going to have to be rushing the quarterback. He's going to have to be getting the penetration. That's what she said. But he's going to have to do that. I'm sorry.
That's what she said.
But he's going to have to do this. Do you see him even fitting into this type of style? Do you see him fitting into a 3-4, and do you see him fitting into the wink system? If they was in Baltimore.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think Leonard Williams will have. I hope he has a great impact. I don't think that the system's going to make him any better. Mr. Entertainer, what's going on, buddy? Say, I need a shave. Rosario. He always likes to tell me, he's like, bad dog, you need a shave. I need a shave. I know. We'll take care of that. We'll take care of that later tonight. I got you. You know, you're Italian. You get this whole thing. I woke up. I shaved last night. I woke up.
This is what you look.
But no, I don't think Leonard Williams is going to have a big year. The only good thing Gettleman did with some of these contracts was front loaded them, so we're able to get out of the back end of them. And Leonard Williams, I'll be surprised unless he blows up this year. I'll be surprised if he's back in 2023 because we have a lot of cap space in 2023, and that's when Joe Shane's really going to be able to nail the draft this year. Then next year you have another draft, and you're going to have a lot of cap space to play with the free agents. So again. But we did this with Gettleman, unfortunately. But it's like we were waiting for 2021 to get here, and it was terrible. But this time, we don't have to wait very long to get some cap space.
And here's the thing that bugs me. This is kind of pissing me off, and that's hard to do.
Yes,
and I paused. That's also known as a césure. It's a dramatic pause. Everyone talked last year about everything we signed in the playoffs and this and that. And I got blasted.
Guilty.
And I got blasted because I said 5 wins. I said, if they do this, and I called the Giants the team of ifs. And I had like 30 ifs that if they did, they may make the playoffs. But I said maybe 5 to 7 wins. I said 7 wins would be the top end, but I didn't see the playoffs. And everyone blasted me for it and told me I was an idiot and didn't know what I was talking about. And then I talked about the salary cap, how this year was going to be horrid with the salary cap. And people would tell me, well, the salary cap is a living, breathing thing. You don't understand football. I was like, okay. I said, I wasn't that nice about it. I didn't say okay like that, but I should. Okay. And laugh now because now you see Giant fans that they know this season's going to suck. And you have to know that because we don't have the talent. But everyone seems to be, in some regards, not everyone, but a majority of fans seem to be okay with it. It's almost like last year didn't happen. We sucked. So we're going on how many years of suckiness to know now that we're going to suck this year? Potentially, I said 2025 before the Giants become competitive or even sniff the playoffs. But how all of a sudden are Giant fans after the big, we're going to the Super Bowl, we're going to the playoffs, to now being okay with, well, we're not going to be good for the next couple of years. I mean, as a fan, I can't deal with that. I mean, I've been the following Giants since the 70s. I can't deal with the fact that I have to think that my team is not going to be good for another 5 years. And I can't be okay with that.
Yeah. One thing I want to go back to I'll get to that one second. I want to go back to the Wink Martindale system. One guy I think could have a really good year in that system is Azeez Ojulari.
All right, great.
I think he can have a massive season. It's funny you mentioned 2025 because I've used this as far as like the circle of life goes with the Giants. I was born in 76. Okay, so I'm a little younger than you. You're old enough to remember the 76 season. Mm-hmm. They started off 0-9, right?
Yeah.
That year they were 0-9. They finished.
We opened up
they didn't score for like a month.
Yeah.
Pretty much the worst team in the history of the Giants.
And I've said that a million times.
Right. 1984, I was born in 76. 1984, I'm 8 years old. Playoff Super Bowl.
Yep. 9-7.
My son was born in 2017. First time ever the Giants lost 13 games in their franchise's history. Right? So by 2025, he'll be 8. And then they start getting good again. And then in 2027, they win a Super Bowl. What do you think? Is that possible?
Down with that. I'm
The only thing is, Tim, if history repeats itself, the Giants need to make the playoffs this year because they did make the playoffs in 81 when I was 5.
Yes.
The problem is we don't have a Lawrence Taylor draft this year.
Well, I was going to say, but then the problem was we hit 82 in the strike, and then we hit 312-1.
Yes.
And then went to 9-7 after Parcells just said, screw it. I'm going to do this. And that's what it's, Parcells said that a million times. He almost got himself fired. And next year he just said, screw it. I'm just going to do it my way.
Yep.
Because he listened to too many people.
Exactly.
But like I said, I just can't get to the fact that just people now just seem to be complacent with the fact.
Yeah,
that
it sucks. It does suck. I remember what year is this? 2018. It was 2018. I remember we started off really bad, and then we were kind of good in the second half. We started to win a few games, and I can remember doing a video in my car after the gym. And this is what I was a smaller channel. I'm still a grand scheme of YouTube. I'm still a smaller channel, but not as many people knew who I was back in 2018. And I remember doing a video saying I almost fell for the trap because the Giants, the Colts are a really good team, and we were up by 14 a couple of times. They ended up losing 28-27 or something. And I found myself coming out of there with, oh, wow, we played the Colts really tough. Like, we've had a really good second half, even though we've lost a few games. Man, we could have been 7-1. I started finding myself falling for moral victories, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I don't want moral victories. I want victories.
I want an actual W.
Right. And it sucks that we are now relegated to, and myself included, I just want to see improvement. We're 6-11, but we're getting better. And I think that we have a future. I can deal with another year of being lousy. It sucks. I guess this is part of being a Knicks fan too. I'm just relegated to, we suck. We're never going to be good. Never going to win a championship. Screw it. It is what it is. Garbage. I don't want that for my Giants because they've actually been good in my lifetime. For a big chunk of my lifetime, they've been really good. It sucks to have that mindset, but I think it's better than the alternative going into the year like I was last year, thinking that we were going to be competitive and being extremely disappointed when we were trash. So it sucks as a Giants fan right now. We have very little talent. We have very little cap space. Everything is new again. And we got to hope that this group of guys knows what the hell they're doing and this works. We have to. I don't want another 5 years of this shit, if I can, lack of a better term.
You could say
I would like to be good in 2 years.
Well, I would like to be good in 2 years. Mike Lee said it best, because I think I've said this a couple of million times. Leonard Williams didn't have a bad year. He reverted to his normal state. 11.5 sacks was a contract year. I've said it before with Leonard Williams. You have 5 years of being this, and then you have 1 year of being this.
Agreed.
It does not negate this.
Agreed.
And he got paid off of this. Yeah. And I'm going to give him this because I don't like Leonard Williams, because I don't like him on this team.
Lorenzo Carter could get that too. He played great the last month of the season.
Yeah, he got 4 sacks in the last 5 games. Yeah,
played great in the last.
Do you think Lorenzo Carter will come back? Because I would actually bring him back.
If we could get him cheap enough. I think Lorenzo Carter. Lorenzo Carter is so frustrating. I watch a guy on YouTube. His name's Uncle Lou. He's this guy knows so much about college football. He's a Bulldogs fan, and the Giants love to draft Georgia Bulldogs, right? So expect James Cook to be a Giant. They like him. Barkley's not going to be here next year. James Cook, let's do it. I'm in for James Cook. But I asked him about Lorenzo Carter, and he said Lorenzo Carter he's kind of said he's going to drive you crazy. His talent level's a 10, but his effort is not always the best. And he's dealt with injuries. He hasn't always showed up. He's got so much talent. You can see it. In Wink Martindale's system, he could be a beast, but the man's got to stay on the field. Yeah. And if he's cheap enough, I would definitely bring back Carter for a cheap deal. I don't think he's going to get a ton of money anyway. I would definitely 2 years, $15 million. I would do it.
Wow, I wouldn't give him that. I think we'd be overpaying a little, but I mean,
you got to overpay everybody, though.
And that's exactly the point I was about to say. I mean, and this is a question, because the Giants are going to have $9,478,000 next year in free agents. Right. According to my Magic 8 Ball.
Yes.
That's what they're having. If you are a free agent and you have a choice to sign a contract with the Giants, who are probably going to be bad for another 2-3 years. Mm-hmm. What do you think the free agent, and I'm not asking you about players, but in your perspective, if you were a player, would you even want, even though the Giants are going to give you more money, because I think they're going to have to overpay next year to get people. Mm-hmm. Do you want to come to this organization, because the dysfunctionalness with this organization, we hope is turned around, but it's been going on now through different regimes. It's not like, you know, we weren't just dysfunctional for, under one person. This has been going on.
It's because of ownership.
2011. And that's what I was getting to. It's because I'm not saying under James Dolan.
But that's the other thing, Tim. Who goes and plays for the Knicks? Don't they lose out on every major free agent?
That's the question. If you were a free agent, or you were with the free agent mentality, even if the Giants were giving you all this money, would you even want to come here?
I guess it would depend on other offers. Like if the Chargers are offering me something, or the Rams are offering me something, and the Giants are offering me the same thing, no, I'm probably saying, no, I'm not. I want to go win. I want my money and I want to win. And if I got a better chance to win in Los Angeles than I do in New York, I'm going to go to LA. Or if I have a better chance to win in Green Bay than I do in New York, I'm going to go to Green Bay. I do not blame a player ever for deciding to go to a better team. And if someone would take less money, like if the Giants say, hey, we'll give you 5 years, $90 million, and the Chargers say, we'll give you 5 years, $82 million, $8 million is a ton of money. But if I can get $82 million and win a Super Bowl, I want that. I want the championship. I want to say I was part of a championship. The whole reason you play this game is to win championship. Well, they get paid too. Let's be.
Well, yeah, you want to.
But 82 million is 82 million. So
now the only reason I'm bringing this up, because one of my other favorite players,
bringing you the smooth sounds of Kenny G. 72 million. Not worth it, as you can plainly see.
$72 million, did not want to even leave the building. The next contract was $36 million. That was the bar setting contract with the Jets. $36 million for the wide receiver. We doubled that for Kenny G. Yes. And that's the point I wanted to bring up. That's what I'm worried about. Because when Kenny G came over, I got a lot of friends that are Lions fans. I got a couple of friends that still live in Detroit. No one was upset that he left. Right. They all thought he could play with the hip pointer. They all thought he dogged it and he was just trying to get his contract. And then everything came in, and what happened was we overpaid almost double. Kind of like the Christian Kirk right now going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville almost doubled the next contract.
Yep.
Are you afraid, or do you think Shane is smart enough? And like I said, I have people are like, wow, Tim, you're so nice now. You say nice things about Shane. I'm giving Shane the benefit of the doubt because I saw what he did when he worked in Buffalo. Do you think he would make a Kenny G mistake and give someone this exorbitant amount of almost double the market value, which has already been set for a receiver? It doesn't have to be a receiver. It could be offensive lineman. It could be anybody.
I don't. And the reason I don't think he'd do that is because I think Dave Gettleman knew that 2021 was it for him. They're either going to be good or he was getting fired and it was his last year. So I think that he went out his way. I'm spending all the money I have. I'm overpaying whoever I got. I'm getting the best guys in here possible to try to win. If we win, I stay around. If we lose, it's not my problem. I'm fired. So I'm just going to spend whatever the hell I got. And I want to do whatever I can to win to keep my job. And if it doesn't work, oh, well, it's not my problem anymore. So I don't think that Shane would do that in his second year. I don't, but at least I hope he wouldn't. But Gettleman was very inept, but I do believe that Gettleman was really forced. His hand was forced here, knowing that this is pretty much it. Either I'm going to make my mark or I'm going to be fired. And I'm going to do whatever I can to bring in the best players that I think are available in the free agent market. So I don't think Shane will do that. At least I hope he wouldn't do that. But again, you do have to overpay everybody to get what you want, because obviously there's a lot of people bidding for their services. The free agent market in the NFL there's not usually a lot of good players out there because a lot of people keep their players, especially on the line. That's why linemen are paid so much, because a lot of people don't give that up. Linemen aren't sexy draft picks. People are like, I want this guy, I want that guy, and I want this. And I understand that because I like the flashy red Ferrari as a defensive linebacker too. I like those guys myself, but it just tells you how important the linemen are, that very few good ones actually hit the free agent market. They're usually franchised or extended because they're so important. But no, I don't think Shane will do that. I don't think Shane will do that next year.
Okay. James Williams says we need to address quarterback, running back, offensive line, defensive line, yet some fans think we're close. And linebacker and secondary. And I think we need a puncher. Well, we need a puncher. We got the Swedish Hammer or whatever the guy is. But we could
potentially draft Jake Camarda. He's a bulldog.
He's a bulldog. Why not? Just throw. Why
They
not?
like
Just throw.
Georgia Bulldogs. They won a championship. Why not take them all?
Take them all. I don't see the Giants winning a lot of games, but I want to see a lot of improvement to be competing every week. Do you think the Giants will be competitive? Or do you think it's going to be like an 83?
Well, I don't remember 83. I was a little young.
Yeah. I get it. I'm old.
A little.
I get it. All right.
A little young for 83.
All right. I got it.
I think the Giants will have good weeks and bad weeks. I don't think they'll be as bad as they were last year. I don't think that's possible. I don't think it's possible for them to be that bad, where they score like 46.
Anything's possible.
Points in 6 games. It was unbelievable. It depends on the injury situation. I think if the Giants are, for the most part, healthy in their skill positions, I think that they'll be more competitive than they were last year, but they're still going to, I think the NFC East I think Dallas got a lot weaker this year. I think Philadelphia it makes me want to vomit in my mouth to say this. I think the Eagles are winning this division. The Eagles made the playoffs last year. They did a good job in free agency. They got 3 first-round picks, and Dallas is going backwards. Washington is Washington. We always struggle against the Eagles. We usually split. Well, we usually beat Washington. We usually lose to Dallas. I don't know. Well, we have a last place schedule, which helps. But like I said, I think you'll have your good days and your bad days. I think the Giants will find one way to win a surprising game. They always do. And then they'll find a way to lose a game that they really just don't show up in. Again, they'll be more competitive than last year, but I don't see more than 6 wins this season.
I said I'd be happy. With 5.
Yeah,
that's what. Petro, what's going on, brother? Hey, Tim, hope you're doing amazing. I'm doing amazing. I'm always doing amazing. Don't I look amazing? My hair looks awesome today. And I even got hat here. We got Dom.
Draft, baby. Yeah.
Dropping into the chat. Hey, Dom. We got the Don Juan coming in. The Dommer's in the building. What is this? Both you guys are awesome. Good guys on Locked On Giants channel. I don't know what that is. Well, I think I've said this a million times, Steven. I watch some Bad Dogs videos, and I watch Ryan Trahan with my son. He's a young YouTuber. He does funny videos. That's what I watch on YouTube.
Yeah, I watch Chris, Tim, Fisk. I always forget people. Authentic don't really do videos, but they do.
Well, he does the thing with the beard. I
watch the podcast type of thing. Yeah, I'm saying that, like, the videos I'm talking about. Live streams, I don't always get to pop in because, wife, kid, Tim, this wife, kid, job, all that good stuff. Trying to stay in shape, trying to keep my job as a bouncer at Poppycocks. I got to hit the gym.
Poppycockers.
Sorry.
Poppycockers. Till he learns. It's Poppycockers. You're going to ruin my merch. If you're going to ruin my merch.
Poppycockers.
Get it right. Thank you.
All right. Poppycockers.
And he's going to sit in timeout one more time. He needs coffee. I said he needed coffee. This morning. Mrs. Bad Dog, run some coffee down.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Poppycockers.
Thank you.
I'm gonna wake up in a cold sweat 3:30 in the morning. Poppycockers.
Well, that's okay. I actually trademarked it. I trademarked Poppycockers.
Maybe I got you doing it.
Yeah, and I laughed. I know now. I can't even say it.
Hey,
I'll just put myself in timeout. I actually texted Dom at I think it was 11 o'clock his time. And I said, dude, how do you spell poppycockers? Is it 1 word or 2 words? So these are, I'm not thinking about the Giants. I'm thinking about my imaginary strip club. Joey G says, I think Peppers is coming back, would be a good fit for our defense on a 1-year deal. I think Peppers should come back. I think he would fit into the Wink system. I think it was the first year he played something like 67% of his snaps in the box for the Giants that first season with Patrick Graham. I personally think he would be a good fit. I think a lot of people are shying away because of the injury. He got hurt in week 6, so he should be fine for the start of the season. Would you bring back Mr. Peppers?
For a year, yeah. I don't think Peppers is going to get a long-term deal, but I think Peppers, is a good leader on the field, probably a good leader in the locker room. I mean, I would definitely bring him back I wouldn't give him a long-term deal, and I don't think you can pay him a lot of money, but because we don't have a lot of money to pay him, but if he'll take $6 to $8 million for one season, maybe you later, put some incentives in there. Maybe, like us, maybe 1 year, $6 million with incentives to get to 8, 9, something. Why not? If he'll take that, I mean, I don't know what other offers he's going to get, but the Giants can't offer him a lot. I would not give him a long-term deal because, again, the knee, you worry about the knee, man. Look at it happened to Odell Beckham, right? He tore his knee, they tore it again in the Super Bowl. So you worry about the knee.
Yeah, Shagley Peppers is only 26.
Yeah.
I always thought he was older for some reason. I always think he was like 29.
Yeah. Well, I think he was drafted really young.
Yeah, he was. And Malik, I don't bring this up with Malik Willis. Malik Willis is actually like 22, so he's a more mature quarterback. I just want to bring that up. We got James Williams say he paid $70 million for 0 touchdowns. You could have paid me $1.5 million and I could have got 0 touchdowns.
You could have paid me $40 and I would have got 0 touchdowns. I did. I didn't even get paid. I got 0 touchdowns.
I got 0 touchdowns. Vinny G is in the house. Great to see you and Bad Dog on the show. Well, he's on my show.
Great to be here.
Well, it's good to have you here. We always talk about this.
Yes.
And I always love it because I hate the comments in the chat. Like, when do you do I do a stream with you, and then in the comment next day I see, when are you going to do a stream with Bad Dog? It's like I freaking did it 12 hours ago. What do you want me to just go to his house?
Hang out? Man. You're welcome anytime, Tim.
You better watch. I might show up. I see that beautiful view. I love that one person. I watched one of your streams and someone was like, is that your house?
I know.
And I was loving that because I was like,
I wish.
I was like, I think if that's your house, I'm coming right now.
Yeah, I put this up here I think it was like snowing and sleeting outside. I'm like, you know what? Let's just woosah in the back.
The one I remember, it was this beautiful, like it was like not all yellow, but it would had this
it's a mansion with like it's in the mountains. Yeah, I used that. I think when I started on StreamYard, they have like a really nice house, like it's just a stock photo. It's like automatically in there. And I was like, let me find a really nice background of a like really nice house. And I found that. I was like, I'm going to use that. Why not? I can be anywhere I want. That's the magic of television. That's the
magic of green screening. And we got Big Don coming in with the super chat. Don, you always come in with the super chat, and I always appreciate it because we all know why. Because where the super chats go, they go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. Find my way into heaven. I admit it freely. And Dominic Palmer wants to know, hey, Tim, when are you and Dogs doing a stream?
One of these days, Dom. One of these days. Whenever I get some time off of poppycockers, I'll do it.
Wait, what is this for Dom here? Dom, welcome to the Wonkered Club. Oh yeah, you got Wonkered. But while you're always welcome at Poppycockers, do you need the name right, or I'll set you up with Urban Meyer? We all know Urban Meyer went to Poppycockers, and that's why he got fired.
That's correct.
We all know that. We all know that. Let's get back in the Giants here. This is a problem. I always go off on tangents. Are there any free agents you guys want or that we can afford right now? Is there anyone out there that the Bad Dog is saying, you know what? We have $600,000. Who can we bring in?
No, I don't think like I said, maybe you bring back Carter or Peppers on a short-term deal, but there's just nothing. We can't afford anything. And most of the good free agents are out of there now. So
yeah, I mean, there's not much. There's not much. And we're at 9. I have to yell. I got a message. I'm supposed to yell. Oh, we got 98 likes. I don't know, but I'm supposed to tell people we have 98 likes. You're supposed to like. You walk in the room, you like. And I've said it before. You could walk in the room and then leave. I'm fine with that. But you're supposed to like.
Yeah, the YouTube algorithm likes that. That's why.
Thank you. See, it's the YouTube algorithms.
It is. The YouTube algorithm likes. It's called engagement. It helps your live streams.
Mrs. Online Big Blue says,
the only thing I know about the YouTube algorithm, because it is extremely confusing. But I do know that they like when people hit the thumbs up. That's why I ask for it too.
I don't ask. And those binging is Mrs. Online Big Blue yelling at me that we went up to 111.
There, look at that.
It always does. I think people just like when I tell them I'm not going to talk anymore. That's why they start liking. Oh my God, we have to get some comments in.
I'd be afraid if I said that people would start taking them away.
So that's Dom's job.
Oh, okay.
I have Dom. I love Dom, and Dom. You know I love you. You know I love you to death. But my subscriber count does this when Dom's on the show. So Dom's not on the show. Dom's on the show. There it goes. Dom is the only person that comes on. I get negative subscribers on my videos. But we love you, Dom. I went to 2 games, paid out of pocket, got 0 touchdowns. I'm all in the negative. Tyrone.
Yeah, you go.
Oh, Tyrone.
You got your free medium soda, though.
You got your free. A free, and they gave away what? Okay, I didn't ask you about this, but you brought it up. They gave away a free medium soda per code.
Yes.
So it's not like if you have 4 tickets, you got 4 medium sodas.
Correct.
You got it per code.
I wonder if they gave you 4 straws at least.
That was my question. I didn't. You probably did a video on it, but what the hell?
I tore them up for that.
I mean, I what the hell?
Destroyed them for that one. Yeah, that was what a year for the Giants.
I mean, how bad? How dumb is that?
The Giants were so bad this year that people are like, the only good thing about the Giants are your post-game videos. That's how bad they were. And that's how bad they were. And it just sucked. And, you know, again, I don't expect much this year, but people are like, oh, you're not expecting much. Are you going to go off? I'm like, of course I'm going to go off. I'll still get pissed when they lose. I'm still a fan. I'm not going to be like, well, you know, we lost 38-7 to Dallas today, but I'm okay because it's rebuilding.
It's okay. I got a free medium soda.
That's great.
I put the link
right here.
I put the link in the chat. We always do this at the end of the show, usually the last 30 minutes. I put the link in the chat. If you want to jump on, this either goes 2 ways, Mr. Bad Dog. This either goes 2 ways. If you want to jump on and say hello to Tim and the Bad Dog, come on in. I know T-Brad's got to be out there somewhere. T-Brad's got to be out there somewhere floating around. Mark Stewart with the super chat, and all super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. What's up, fellas? In your gut feelings, who is our 5 and 7? I'm going to ask this. I'm going to answer this question, and I want to ask you a question on this. In my gut feeling, I still think the Giants are going to go tackle and then do something defense. If Neal is there, I think they're going to go Neal, and I think they would if Thibodeau wasn't there at 7, I think they're probably going to go Lloyd. If it was me, I'm taking Malik Willis at 5. I'm taking Lloyd at 7. I've said that a million times. In your gut, and I know we've talked about this briefly, but in your gut, who do you think the Giants would take, and who would the Bad Dog take?
Who would I take? I would take, if they're available, Thibodeau and Icky. I would go defensive. I want a pass rusher, and I want the best lineman in the draft, who I think is Icky. So I would go that route. What do I think they're going to do? I have a feeling Kyle Hamilton. I have a feeling they're taking Kyle Hamilton. I have that feeling when they got rid of Logan Ryan. They have 2 safeties. They have Xavier McKinney and Julian Love. That's their safeties.
So they got on the roster.
What's that?
That's who they have on the roster. I mean, that's it.
I think you may see. It's tough, man. I don't know if they'd go. I don't know if they will go too. I have a feeling he might pass the offensive line because he hasn't really taken, as a GM, he really never took offensive linemen in the first round. So, and he has been able to find really good value late in the draft. And I think if he's thinking, you know what, I can do that for the New York Giants, I can find good value late in the draft and get some good linemen in here, I think you could see Thibodeau and Hamilton as the first 2 picks. So in my gut, I think that's what they're going to do. And I never would have thought, I would have said that a month ago, but I have a feeling that could be what they do. I feel like they could really go bulk up Wink system, and Shane's going to say, my record speaks for itself. I can get good linemen later in the draft, and that's what I'm going to do.
It's the T-Brad. Another
gentlemen.
Tonight, T-Brad. We're going to have the mac and cheese cook-off between the T-Brad with his mom's recipe and James Williams and his aunt's recipe. I'm not saying where we're going in Jersey, but it's probably going to have to be at the T-Brad house because he's got the bar. T-Brad, you're on with the Bad Dog.
Hey, what's going on, Bad Dog? How you doing,
What's up?
brother?
He comes in to use the word gentleman. Use that term loosely. In this
Hey,
yeah.
I got to give you benefit of the doubt. I'm curious, where do you guys think we should grab wide receiver? Because I'm tired of not having any weapons since Odell Beckham left. Like exciting playmaking people, like we haven't had it. I think we have the curse of the Beckham.
We
right
got
now.
Kadarius Toney. Come on,
man, yeah. Did you see him in the crutches?
he looked good. He has the fastest 40 in a boot that any player ever had.
I was telling that he's probably the most athletic person in the infirmary. He's he's the most athletic, you know.
He is. He's got to be. Bad Dog, where? And this is a good question. This is a question I did want to bring up. Oh, but wait a minute. We got something else that's got to drop in real fast because you know what? It's the gang's all here. It's
there it is.
Funk.
Draft, baby. Yeah.
We got a draft, baby. Yeah. Now Bad Dog's really sitting there going like, what the fuck did I get myself in?
I was a bit worried your subscriber count was getting a bit high. So
yeah, I know.
I'd hop in.
He's like, I got to deal with these morons. And I haven't even had my second cup of coffee. But I want to ask the Bad Dog question because this is actually a good question. Wide receiver. We do need a wide receiver. In my mind, we're going to, you don't know what you're going to get with the Shep. You have no idea. I mean, where do you think the Giants, if they draft a wide receiver or try to grab a wide receiver, where do they go in this draft? Is there a wide receiver that has the Bad Dog stamp of approval?
No, I mean, again, I haven't went late into the draft, so I don't know. But I'm thinking third round is probably the earliest that I would go. I don't listen to me. I think the wide receivers would be good enough if they could stay healthy. But they will address it at some point. I don't think it's going to be early in the draft. They have so many more needs. You got to just hope that you spent a first round pick on Kadarius Toney. You spent $72 million on Galladay. They have to perform. They got to be the guys. It has to happen. So third round, fourth round, I'm fine with that. But first three picks, like I said, man, I would go on the line, offensive or defensive line.
You talked about Ohio State before. What about Garrett Wilson?
Ooh.
I mean, I third round or later, man. The best receiver there is Chris Olave, and I feel like the Eagles are going to take it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was about to ask you that. Do you think the Eagles would go wide receiver after the whole Devin Smith and then?
Of course, they draft the wide receiver every year, and they all suck. So I'm happy for them. Although I do think Devontae Smith will be pretty decent, but the rest of them are trash. And why not take another trash receiver?
Why not?
I do think they definitely will. But us, I just think we have so many other needs besides that receiver. I don't want to mess with the receiver early in this draft.
Well, the good news is we are at 140 something people. We've dropped down to 127 because the Dahmer's here. The Dahmer's here. You know what? We had 111 likes. We've dropped down to 40.
I haven't even said anything yet.
I didn't even know that was possible. Dom, you're always on with me. You're always backing me up. T-Bar, I got to put you on mute a second because evidently the traffic is busy today. Dahmer, welcome. We never get celebrities on besides me, especially when I'm having a good hair day.
You're talking about T-Brad and Bad Dog because it's
well, T-Brad's always a celebrity, man. T-Brad's the man. What do you got? Any questions for the Bad Dog? This is your chance. This is your shot. This is your opportunity to do it live, not just in the chat.
Well, I popped in for today.
Now he was boring the hell out of me already. He was boring the hell out of me.
Every time, man.
I've told you this before. You're going to kiss someone's ass. It's got to be mine.
Oh, damn it. You know what? I said it earlier. I said, I put a comment in. I said, at risk of getting wonkered, and, you do it straight off. Oh, dear me. What I was going to say, I missed a lot of the stream. I've been on childcare, but I've managed to get them entertained enough that I can drop in. But what I was going to say, I think my question for Bad Dog would be, and you may have addressed this earlier, apologies if you have, would be what area outside the offensive line? So what would your second biggest area of need be? Because I think offensive line is where you're sort of saying a number one area of need is for this team.
Yeah, to me, offensive and defensive line are definitely the number one needs. And a month ago, you wouldn't have even convinced me otherwise. But with what they're doing in the secondary now, like I said, Kyle Hamilton, not my first choice, but if they decided to go with Kyle Hamilton and they get rid of Bradbury and they go with Sauce Gardner, it's not going to upset me. Then again, not my first choice. I think that you win this game in the trenches. I think you build from the inside out. And I think without a good foundation, I always use the analogy, your house can look great above ground, but if the foundation's weak, your house is weak. It's the same thing. I like to go to the gym. I see guys that never work their legs out. If you have no foundation, your body's weak. I don't care how big your upper body is. If you got no foundation, no base, you're weak. You're weak. The Giants are weak. They get pushed around on both sides of the football. It can't happen anymore. They have to build a wall. They have to win in the trenches. This is a passing league. It's an offensive league, but at the end of the day, the game is still won in the trenches. I think the Giants need to address both. They need a legitimate pass rusher. They haven't had one in years.
I think it's very little that we can do.
JPP.
I was about to say that T-Brad. I was going to say JPP is probably the last one that you can think of was not dominant at times, but very inconsistent. I'm a big JPP fan. I got the JPP hat behind me that he gave me his last game against Washington, so everyone knows I love JPP. But yeah, I think he's the last guy. I had a quick question. You know what? This is a great question though. Tight end, and I'm gonna actually start with the T-Brad. Tight end. We got rid of Caden Smith. I know everyone knows I was upset about that because who else? We couldn't find a third tight end. Just anywhere. We got rid of Evan Ingram. I know we signed the guy from Washington, and he's a hidden gem. I mean, are the Giants, T-Brad, are the Giants set at the tight end spot, or are we going to pick someone up later?
I don't know. Man,
Okay.
wonky yourself for that question. Hell no. Who? Ricky Seals, who? Come on, man. like I get it. Like, you want to see the potential, but there's absolutely no way. I mean, I don't think I agree with Bad Dog. Like, probably third round. The way he feels about receiver, because I think we got to go Malik Willis, offensive line, defensive line. If we don't go Malik Willis, offensive line, defensive line, secondary. But yeah, we got to get a tight end around round 3, maybe even 4. There's a lot of guys I like. Ferguson, Ottman, even the boy Wood. There's a lot of there's no superstars, so you're taking your best pick out of the B or C players. So good luck.
Dom?
Yeah, I mean, I think it wouldn't surprise me to see another cheap tight end come in to add competition in free agency, but it's going to be cheap, going to be bottom end players that are in their final year or coming off injuries or what have you. I think you're looking at third round of the draft, someone like Colo or someone like that possibly coming in. I think that's where I think we'd be doing it. And, I mean, Bad Dog was saying earlier about the receivers. I think we need to pick up the tight ends before we pick up the receivers and hope that the receivers we have are better than last year's. But, hey, we've got David Sills. What more could we want? Receiver. But where's my sarcasm sign? There we go. But, yeah, tight end.
Hey, Dom, I'm going to have to question that logic. Yeah,
go for it. Yeah.
Question. If I get a minute, can I go now, Tim?
You can go.
All right. So you just said you think you should grab tight end before wide receiver. Now I'm saying wide receiver first, not saying the position is more important, just that the talent is going to be better there. Like if you can get let's say you don't get Trey McBride, but you can grab like an Alec Pierce and any tight end but Trey McBride. Who do you take?
Depends on who I've got on my roster at the moment. I mean, I'm
no, it's the Giants roster. It's the Giants roster.
Yeah, exactly. But when you come to drafting who you're going to get on your roster, that would kind of dictate it. So I'm sort of saying just generally tight end ahead of wide receiver based on the fact we've got no tight ends.
Right.
And you just got to hope your wide receivers are there. Whatever we do, we are going to have holes somewhere. And that's why I'm okay with trying to see if our wide receivers this year are going to be all right or not. But you go either, but I would go tight end and just try and brief up those tight ends.
Yeah, it's just preference.
I think your point about the wide receivers going deeper is definitely right. No question about that. Right. But
They both bored me. I got bored. Sorry.
Double Wonka.
Sorry. Double Wonka. I got bored. Sorry, guys. I got bored.
We get the Willy Wonka golden ticket.
We didn't mention Malik Willis enough.
You didn't mention Malik. You didn't mention Malik Willis. Like, someone said I did not acknowledge the super chat, and I wasn't ignoring the entertainer talking drugs for the $2 super chat. Can we get a Tim Bad Dog an entertainer roundtable, please? Mr. Bad Dog's rubbing his face like, oh dear Lord.
Mr. Bad Dog needs another cup of coffee.
Mrs. Bad Dog, we need another cup of coffee. I'm never against doing
I got
roundtables with anybody. I'm never against it, and
I have some Coca-Cola here.
Have some Coca-Cola, and listen. And I know the Bad Dog is friends with the Chris.
Coke and a smile.
And Coke and a smile. Shut the fuck. And I understand that. So I don't say anything disparaging against Chris, and nor will I ever. Well, I do sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, 'cause I'm an asshole. I'm a 6'2", 220-pound asshole. I can say whatever the hell I want. That's what I tell people. But I am never against doing live streams. OGR, who hated me.
OGR.
We hang out.
There you go.
We hang out on the stream. No one ever thought OGR, because OGR said some nasty things about me. But you know what? We talk.
OGR is doing well. I don't see.
OGR's usually. I'm surprised he's not in the chat, because he's usually in the chat. So never thought OGR and I would be buddies, but I like OGR.
Yeah,
I like him.
I met OGR. We went to the Giants
football game together. Yeah, he told me about that.
Yes.
So I would never.
Very good dude.
I would never say no. I don't think it would ever happen, but I would never say no. So that's the way. Dom is like, oh dear Lord. He says, oh dear. T-Bar, I'm gonna drop you off here a second, because I want.
Oh Lordy, I believe is.
Lordy, because I want to talk to the Bad Dog the last 14 minutes here, and I'm gonna drop you off too, Dom.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've got to go. Always a pleasure, and keep well, but all three of you.
Always a pleasure.
I've got to go do childcare and get.
We will see Dom, of course, at 4 p.m. on Tuesday Eastern Standard Time. We see
correct 8 o'clock UK time.
8 o'clock UK. Very good.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, no, I don't know when you guys set the clocks ahead. When do you set the clocks ahead?
Yeah, the clocks changed last week, and by some chance, I was like, "Hang on, the clocks changed in America, but not here." And I checked. I was like, "Christ, I'm on an hour early this week."
Right. Yep.
But there we go. A pleasure, guys.
Later,
good.
fellas.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Oh my goodness gracious. I see you are my sons, Chris chat a lot. You are my sons. I don't know what that means.
That's Chris's dad.
Oh, okay. I'm never in Chris's chat. I don't like YouTube. I freely admit it. I don't even go on YouTube. People ask me all the time, they go, do you watch your stuff back? And I said, no, I just record my shit and I go. And I just leave it go.
Once in a while, I watch my stuff back. The post games I usually do, just because I don't know. A lot of times I'm so upset, I don't even know what the hell I'm saying, and I go back and I'm like, this is pretty good. That's pretty good. So I had some good sound bites this year. So I was the you run laps. Joe was
my god,
took on a life of its own. I don't know what people loved that. They loved you run laps, Joe. You run lap. They ate that up. And again, I don't even know where the hell I come up with this stuff, but so I put together that little combination of my rages this year. Some of the better things that I said. The paper bag in the head. I don't know. I was just pissed this year.
It was just bad. It was just bad. I mean, it was, it's the type of season people ask, because I've seen the bad seasons. I saw the 76 season. I saw the 83 season. And they always ask me, was this the worst season? And I'm going to say it was not worse than 76 was worse. But the last, 5 games would we say?
They were
just got off. I mean, that was probably the worst performance that I saw from a Giant organization since 76, since when we got shut out for, I think it was 17 quarters or whatever the exact quarters were. Yeah. I mean, when Jake the Fromm came in, and I've said this before, and I said in multiple videos, he took command of the huddle. He got his troops to the line. He put everyone in the right position. He looked good, overseeing the field, calling out the mic. He hikes the ball. He goes back to throw. And then he throws the ball 4 yards, and it takes an hour and a half to get there. I was like, that's great. If you could take some of the intangibles of DeFrommer and put him in Daniel Jones, and give him Daniel Jones's ability, we would have a quarterback.
Yeah. I didn't think anybody could be worse than Glennon, but Fromm definitely fit the bill. I don't know why, John. I understand it's like a guy you never heard of. You like, oh, Fromm, there's a reason the man was on a practice squad. There's a reason the man was a 5th-round pick. And I'm telling you again, just going back to Uncle Lou, Fromm was a bulldog, and he absolutely hated Jake Fromm to the point that he called him Jake Fromm. Called him that to his face.
Yeah.
Get off the team bus, said Jake Fromm.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's like Chris's dad. I'm always nice, Chris's dad. I'm the nice guy in the world. Yeah. Just ask anybody. Just ask the people that hate me. Mm-hmm. There's a long list. So
yeah, I got that too.
You know what the best part is? I don't think people understand this about YouTube. There's a section on YouTube where it's like spam comments. And then there's a section underneath that says held because they may be offensive.
Inappropriate, correct.
Inappropriate comments. I stopped going into that section because if I went into that section every day, I would probably jump off a bridge.
I always find those amusing. I mean, for the most part, I usually okay those. I just, you never know what's going to be said. Most of the part, I don't care. Oh, you suck. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're an asshole. You just sit there and do this and talk about Joe. You can't do better. Okay. I'll okay that. You're right. Can't do that. See,
those I okay.
Right.
But I get some doozies. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. And I let my wife read them once.
Yeah.
She was like, oh dear Lord.
Some of them are pretty good. I always love the argument though, we're sitting on here. So Daniel Jones can't do this. Daniel Jones can't do that. Oh, you can do better. Well, I'm like, if you're comparing Daniel Jones to a YouTuber to win your argument, you got to get a better argument, sir. That's not really going to say, oh, he's better than me. What the hell does that prove?
Yeah, that doesn't prove anything. That doesn't prove anything. Yeah,
that's always my favorite. You can't do. How come you think you're so good? How come you're not coaching the Giants? Well, you shouldn't be comparing Joe Judge to me. Compare him to the other coaches in the NFL.
Right. But
that's where you're supposed to compare them, not to me.
We never got the chance to talk about Joe Judge, and we only got a couple minutes left. We never got a chance to talk about Joe Judge. We never got the chance to talk about his exile, his leaving the Giants, his pizza party. Joe Judge went to a pizza party. Coors Light and pizza.
Coors Light, sorry.
Daniel Jones and Logan Ryan showed up.
He swindled the Giants for how many millions of dollars? You're drinking Coors Light? Can you get a better beer, sir?
And you saw the house it was going into?
Almighty, you take an L on the beer he drinks.
I mean, geez, though. But I hate
Coors Light is the quarterback sneak of beers.
I can't say that. I had Coors Light 2 days ago.
The Giants didn't give you $25 million.
That's true. I was in the restaurant and the guys went, I want something light. And he goes, well, I've got Coors Light. I'm like, there you go. I'll have one of those. Joe Judge did, to your point, in some ways, he swindled, he hoodwinked, he did everything. A lot of people fell for the Joe Judge.
I did.
I know you did, and that's why I'm asking you, because I didn't.
I did.
From the opening press conference, I said I did not like him. Yep. I said he is too manipulative. He's going to use psychology. And I've used the analogy that if you look, when he decided that he was going to go roll in the mud, go get the ball and show me he's one of the boys, and Dalvin Tomlinson had the hose. If you watch the video, Dalvin Tomlinson wasn't shooting him in the body. Dalvin Tomlinson was shooting him in the face with the hose. And I thought that was very Freudian. And then next year, Dalvin Tomlinson's gone. I'm not saying that one had to do to the other, but how, in your mind, after watching the Giants, not as much as I have, in the anacles of bad head coaches, where does Joe Judge fall? Was he a just a bad head coach, or was he a product of the talent that he had that made him so horrid?
It's interesting because the first year he was here, he took over a really bad situation, no training camp, the COVID thing, like there was no exhibition games. And, even when they were beat up, they still were really competitive. They beat Seattle. And like you felt like he was doing something correct. Like it seemed like he was getting the most out of his players. And then he got the Ben McAdoo syndrome. really arrogant. Now I really believe my own hype. This happened to Ben McAdoo, in my opinion. And Joe Judge, everybody, Michael K was calling him Gold Jacket Joe. Joe Judge is getting heaping praises. Then you believe your own hype. The biggest telling thing to me, Tim, with Joe Judge was all these players that came in this year and all retired.
Yeah.
I said, what is going on? How do all these players come into camp? They're like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not staying here. The Kelvin Benjamin thing, granted, they asked him to get down to a certain weight and he actually gained weight, but he was out. The coaches that didn't seem like they were on the same page. We had the Mark Colombo deal. There was guys getting fired left and right. I was one to say, Joe Judge, you can keep throwing the bodies under the bus. It's just going to slow the bus down, but it's going to get you eventually. And that's what he did. To me, he kept blaming everybody but himself, would never take accountability for anything. I was all aboard in 2020, but man, the first game against Denver, when he threw that challenge flag, that made me insane. People during the offseason, they're like, we're doing the live stream. Who's Bad Dog's first rank going to be? Oh, it's going to be on Daniel Jones. He's going to kill Daniel Jones. He's going to be on Saquon Barkley. Oh, you know what? I think it's going to be on Kenny Golladay. And I did that video. They're like, never thought it'd be Joe Judge to be the first guy that felt his wrath. And all year, he did everything bad all year. He never improved. Mismanaging the clock. The timeouts are terrible. You outscored 76-0 at the end of the first half. You're punting the ball 4th and 3 from the opposition's 39-yard line. He is the worst head coach I've ever seen. Worse than McAdoo. McAdoo brought us to, I think McAdoo was a smart football guy, bad leader of men.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Shermer is just Pat Shermer. He's not meant to be a head coach. He's meant to be a coordinator. Some guys are. Ray Hanley was not good, but at the same time, Ray Hanley took over a really older Giants team. They were getting old. That team was getting older. He wasn't Bill Parcells. They still won 8-8 in 91. His biggest mistake was starting Hostetler instead of Sims. And then they just started to kind of fall apart. He wasn't a good head coach either. And they didn't really plan on him being the head coach. They planned on Parcells coming back. And we all know that he had the heart attack and they retired. And that screwed us out of Belichick, which we probably wouldn't be having this conversation if Belichick was our head coach in 1991. But yeah, I think he's the worst. I think by far that guy's the worst head coach in my lifetime that they've had. I didn't see Arnsparger. I came in at a good time. Parcells was always.
Yeah, I saw Arnsparger.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that.
We had 3 winners in a row. Yeah. People also forget about McVay, a couple other people in the 70s. I see a lot of Chris's dad with a lot of old Giants. Homer Jones, of course, I've always said it before. Fun fact about Homer Jones, he actually invented the spike. So Y.A. Tittle was one of my father's favorite quarterback. I have a Y.A. Tittle autographed helmet behind us. We're getting ready to close out, Mr. Bad Dog. I appreciate you coming on and staying for the full 2 hours.
My pleasure, man. I love working with you. We can talk football forever.
Oh,
you know that. I get you on my channel. It gets to be like midnight. I'm like, all right, let me let you go because I can talk to 4 in the morning.
We're not gonna go that long today.
No, I know.
I'm just joking.
It's nice to talk with somebody, like I said, that just is honest about it, has no problem criticizing the team, and somebody that, has watched the Giants for a long time, knows the history of the Giants and everything else. Obviously, we're not going to agree on everything either. We don't agree on the Malik Willis thing per se, but at the same time, man, I love talking football with you. I always have a good time when I do this. I think we work well together. There's always some comedy aspect that goes into it, and the Giants are a comedy themselves.
They're comedy. But the big question is, when are we going to do a stream?
I don't know. We'll have to get together. I hit you up on the Twitter sphere, and we'll have to stream soon.
That's like I said. I swear to God, if I'm going to see at least 2 comments. Mark it down. 2 comments on the stream asking when we're going to do a stream.
Yeah.
Because like I said, that is always my favorite part. You're always a gentleman to allow me to come on. I don't do many other streams or many other channels. I'll go on Cop once in a while because. Cop for what people think he is. To me, he's always been a gentleman.
Right.
We've always had a good relationship. Not only on the stream, but off the stream. I DM him on Twitter every once in a while just to say hey, and just to bug him. And I always enjoy when you're able to come on. I always do this to Dom, and I see you're struggling to stay awake. You're looking for that.
No, I'm good. I gotta get some food.
You got to get some
You
food.
gotta get some nourishments.
You got to get the nourishment. You got to get the gym. I was carb loading today because I'm going to the gym today. And I told my wife, she goes, "Why are you eating pancakes?" I said, "Because I'm carb loading." That's what you're supposed to do. Pancakes are the best thing. I always do this to the Dahmer. I always have this big buildup, this air that it's something that's you're going to pontificate something that is going to be beyond the point of reason, the final thought to end the stream of all streams. And like I said, it's what is the final thought from the Bad Dog to close this 2 hours out?
The final thought is we better nail this mother effing draft.
That's what she said.
That's the final thought. We better knock this draft out of the park. That's it.
And you know what, guys? I think that is the best. Dom, take note of that. Here we go. Dom, see Dom. I don't do streams either. No one will ever rate the subscriber count. Dom, you know I love you, but you're the only person I know can bring negative subscribers. I've said that before. I could do that all by myself. I don't need help getting negatives. Nikki, I appreciate everyone dropping in. I appreciate Chris's dad dropping in the chat. Harsh for real. We got the Dom. We got everyone coming in that stayed late. We got Mike. Like you said, guys, if you don't know it, the online Big Blue website is back up and running. You can download the ringtones, Giant Informations. Follow us over on YouTube and also on the podcast. The app should be in the App Store, Google Play Store on Monday. It's in production right now, so you'll be able to follow us online, follow us on the app, do the live streams. You will get live notifications when we do videos next. I know a lot of people have been concerned that they weren't getting the notifications. I want to thank the Bad Dog.
Thank you, sir,
for coming in and just it's always. Try not to laugh before I end it out. It's always fun. It's always a good time. And you know what, guys? We're going to close it out. We'll see you, everyone, on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our Dahmer time. We are going to have the roundtable on April 26th, which is Orthodox Easter. And I only know that because it says that on the calendar. So we will be doing our one and only draft show then, and that's when we will be doing our one and only mock draft. And Mr. Bad Dog, I appreciate it. And I think I think we're out.
All right. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for having me on, Tim. Always appreciate it.